Yeah, but what do you think Joe's going to score The Last of Us? Because I've already heard he's bitching about it, man.
Yeah, I could see him being like, "This is." Well, I'll put it to you this way: I didn't play it because I didn't want to. I didn't want to get drugged out and play that shit and be depressed. But I did watch all the cutscene videos just out of curiosity. One night I couldn't sleep, so I just turned it on and just
Was
watched them.
that recent or was that the leaks?
This was recent. This was like
Okay.
right after we freaking got done talking about it before I did it. And I see what they were trying to do because they tried to make it out like this shit's hard on Ellie, like, being she's killing people and she's just going like she ends up killing one of them. One of them's pregnant, and she like doesn't realize she's pregnant until she kills her. And it's like,
And
oh,
pukes. I saw that
yeah.
somewhere.
And it's like you could tell like this shit's like it's tearing her up, and it is like finally at the end of the game, it's like years later, and she's got like well not years, but it's later because the baby's born. And Tommy comes to her, is like, I know how to find this person. And she's like, I don't care. We're not. And Tommy gives her the shit about like you can't. You fucking promised, And Tommy's all fucked up, so he can't go do it.
Yeah.
And then she goes after her because she's like, I can't sleep. I fucking see him in my sleep. I keep having nightmares. And then she goes there, and you realize like you almost feel a little bit of pity for her, not Ellie, but the other character, Abby. Like they tried to make you give a shit. They tried to make you care about her. They tried to make you understand her side of the story. But at the same time, you're like, fuck her. She killed Joel. Like, it's like
Yeah.
in game time, it's like you're especially if you're running through that game, it's like, bam, 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 that just happened like 5 minutes ago, even though it's probably like 10 hours ago. But you know what I'm saying? It's
I
not like
got you.
you've lived through that moment of like, yeah, that was years ago. It's like, fuck, that was just like last night when I was playing through that shit. Fuck her, kick her ass. They try to make it where you try to get some sympathy on some of those characters, but you don't want it. And
It's
also, you know how like Last Jedi when it came out, and I was like, fuck this movie. I hate this. I don't like this. And no matter what they do to the next one, it ain't gonna matter because they've already fucked up so far. That's gonna be Last of Us 3. Like it's like you done fucked up so far. You're done so far up shit creek that you don't even give a shit what they do anymore. Like you're not going to be invested.
I mean, honestly, that's so far away.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
That
like probably at least 10 years. But at the
yeah,
same
yeah.
point, you'll be like, I don't give a shit. Joel's gone unless they do like a prequel.
Yeah, you didn't destroy fucking everything. You burned it down for a point, I guess. I don't know. But I mean, the thing is, it's like this is what Jim Sterling said. Um,
Stop sending me death threats.
well, I'm sure he's getting plenty of death threats, but at the same time, what he was saying about that game is like, oh, it's fun killing people. It's fun killing dogs because the dogs are annoying. From a game mechanic sense, it's you want to kill these things because they're going to be assholes to you, and so can you remove yourself as a actual video game player? Is this someone who's watching the movie segments? It's not. No, that's really kind of entwined. It's the same thing, and so you Abby's been the. Well, I don't think you fight her as a boss first. You fight Ellie as a boss. But it's one of those things. It's like I don't really give a shit. Is like, I wouldn't have a problem killing the dogs either. I know Drew wouldn't want to kill the dogs. But to me, a dog will be a bastard, especially in Resident Evil 3 or something.
Yeah.
And I ain't got a problem killing them shits. But as a game, you're encouraged to do it from a gameplay perspective because it has to be a game. And then for a movie, it's like, oh well, shouldn't you feel bad? Like, fuck no, I don't feel bad. Does that make me a sociopath in game terms? Yeah, I am a sociopath. I'm going to do what's best for me and me alone. I don't give a fuck about your AI.
Yeah, it's a very different. It's like when he gave all the bad guys names, like, oh, this is freaking Bob. He's gonna, he's hanging out with it. You don't give a fuck. That's like if they named all the zombies in Resident Evil and tried to give them backstories. This was Anne. She worked at a veterinary. No, you don't give a fuck. The Anne's trying to bite my fucking arm.
Marvin. I mean, Marvin's right there, dude. And he slowly turns over in Resident Evil 2. And when you think, because they play it out, because he's going to turn already from not only from just zombie tropes, but from Resident Evil 2, the original one. Yep. And so they play it out as long as they can. And she finally sees Claire. She says, "Oh, Marvin," or whatever. It's not even the big cut scene or whatever. She just says it, and so But there's fucking Marvin. If you leave his ass around when you're trying to move back and forth in that damn area coming out of the steps, whatever, he'll have to be getting your ass. So he's got to be dropped. Fuck, he's done. At the very
They
least,
touch
I'm
on
taking
that
his
in
legs
3.
off.
Because in 3 it shows him get bit by what's his name? God, was it Brad? Whatever the one was at the beginning of 3, I forget his name, but he's in.
Yeah,
you know who I'm talking about. He was one of the Stars members. In 3, he's the one that ends up biting Marvin in remake 3.
Yeah. I've actually went through and beat that, so I can give you my opinion of that real fast.
Oh, really? It's to me, I guess overall it's short, but it's very action packed, and it feels shorter than it is short, but it feels short also because you're like it's fucking it goes. What did you think?
It's really missing the survival horror parts. That's the most important part of the remake of 2. And so when you focused in on the action, it actually feels worse than like 4, 5, and 6 because you don't have much you can really do, man. It's generally, here's a bunch of zombies. So, okay, is there a barrel? No. Okay, so you better use the grenade launcher on their ass. And you can't just, there's not much of a point of dropping them and leaving them alive because you ain't getting enough ammo because you'll just be going to the next area anyway.
Yeah, you don't cycle back around. I mean, you get the impression that you would be in the first part of the game. Like you really kind of feel like, yeah, I'm going to be in this city for a while, but really, you're not. I mean, how could you be when the game's only basically 5 hours? But still, there's not a lot of like coming back around to like, oh, well, I better take this guy's kneecaps out so I don't get fucked later. No, you won't be back. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's such a big aspect of 2. And once you leave the police station, the sewers are weaker. Everything's weaker because you're kind of moving through rich area. They're still bigger than what's in Resident Evil 3 because in Resident Evil 3 you pretty much got the first town and you have the hospital, and then everything else is just a linear corridor. The freaking sewers with the big poop monsters, they give you exactly what you need for as grenade launchers to kill them. It's usually one flame, well, at least in hardcore, it's one flame grenade or maybe a flame with a shotgun. And then, you have exactly what you need. You have to go back and forth a couple times. It's kind of a pain. There's probably a way to dodge them. I couldn't figure out how to dodge it. And so it's just video gamey as fuck. And then Nemesis is where he bursts through the fucking door immediately. Like as soon as you start playing, he bursts through. And honestly, it didn't even jump scare me because it's doing that shit in bullet time anyway. And so it's like, and then Jill kind of does her own fucking thing. It's like sometimes you do press a button and sometimes you don't. I remember you're running across a bridge and he's chasing you right before he comes to the dog thing where he's running around the building. Yeah. You running and she just goes and pushes shit off on her own. It's like, I didn't do that. And then she jumps the bridge on her own. It's like, did I even need to hold forward? I think I did. I thought that I was helping. Maybe I wasn't even playing the shit. You don't even know.
I did the same thing. I was like, am I running down this corridor? I did. It's like you kind of realize, no, not really.
Yeah, and then you get to him, and you're kind of just running in a circle. And you do that for like several of the Nemesis fights. Or the first one, when he has the flamethrower, you're hiding behind the wood until he's open. And then it's long as fuck on hardcore. It takes forever to kill him. On all of the shit where it just gets to the point where it's just like, this is annoying as fuck. And if he gets real close to you on hardcore, he'll probably then stun lock your ass. I mean, you have a dodge out of it, but he's so much in your face you can't even see what he's doing. And so like the action-y part that they up the action on, it falls apart, man. It falls apart a lot. Of course, then you got hunters and shit and liquors. There's still, you do not have a fucking good means of dealing with them in this game. It's like, I'm sitting there with Carlos, had to put multiple clips into the damn freaking hunters. Usually hiding or using door shits. They are so stupid on doors. Like 1 or 2 will go through the door. The other one's like, every time you leave the door, he'll go back and immediately back to his place, and he won't even be facing you, and he'll just do that robotically. Like he has a set place he has to be. And it's like you would go in there, shoot a couple bullets. He's pissed at you, tries to claw you through the doors, like you can't come through. It was so gamey. I could predict like when Nemesis would show up. I could predict, like I predicted, once they gave you the lockpick and you could go down to the area of the power generator. I'm like, Nemesis is going to show up if I go to that generator. So I'm going to go and do all the lockpicks first. And I predicted it like to a T what he's going to do. And it gets to the point where there's no the anxiety, the tension goes away. I ended up with tons of bullets towards the end, and it's like, and had it been a game on its own, like if you took the Resident Evil out of it and it wasn't a sequel to Resident Evil 2, this would be a good game. But it's not. The expectations, like we were talking about before, are so high, and it just cannot meet them. And it damn sure isn't worth $60. I didn't think it was. I wasn't that worried about the length. It don't seem to have much replayability. I looked at the shop and I was like, this is not really too awesome what they have offering there. There was
I thought I would go back and play it again just because of the shop, and I started another game and it was like just to try out. I think I tried out one of the guns or something, and I was like, okay, and I never went back to it. I just kind of forgot about it.
You can afford that infinite pistol. Well, at least I could. I had 8,400 points or something when I won. I was like, I could buy that pistol. But if I was to go on to Nightmare, you could automatically see what you needed to buy. You needed to buy the 2 defense coins and that thing that made your dodge better. It's like the dodge is way strong. They also pretty much force you to use it all the fucking time with Nemesis, the way it attacks, and you end up you just notice real fast. Oh, he's got a jab, he's got a freaking punch, and he's got like a haymaker. And he's got a double backhand. It's like each one has a different time. Just wait and look at the animation and then just dodge it on that. So I can see most of the skill related will be learning to dodge the shit.
Yeah, I thought it would be. I don't know. I guess I thought you'd be trenching around a little bit more, like you remember Resident Evil 2, and that dodge mechanic in Resident Evil 2 would have been awesome. But like you said, when you're not really hanging around areas very long, it's like, whatever, just fuck it. Just mow them down enough to get past them, get through the next area. But I thought he would probably chase you more. It's like, you know how he does at the very beginning of the game? They did the sort of Mr. X where he's chasing you around. But that's really the only point in the game where he's chasing you around. Then it's just like every time he shows up, it's just a boss fight. There's nothing but a boss fight for it.
Yeah. I gave him 2 grenades and ended up with like a 30-round clip and like a sight or something like that. I don't know if you got any more, but
I think that's about it. Yeah. I think there was 3 things you could get to upgrade the thing, and 2 of them you got from him or something, and 1 of them you got from something else, like out of a safe or something.
Yeah, I missed a bunch of Carlos's shit, but it still didn't make a difference. I remember some DSP had such a hard time during that part where you're waiting for the guys to come in. I didn't have that much time. I forgot. I didn't get the circuit breaker. You have to go into the room where the hunter comes through behind the desk.
Yeah.
He opens it up. As I had to go there, hit the circuit breaker. I forgot to do that on the first go. I didn't know what it was. And then I got cheese balled like another time. Both 2 zombies got on me, and they, on hardcore, you pretty much got 2 hits. They both gave me the 2 hits in one go. There's a lot of cheesiness in it. Other than that, it was just keep moving around and had enough bullets and use the little electrical pieces. And I didn't have a grenade for them for the hunters, but I freaking put a clip on his ass, and then I stunned him with a damn electrical thing and put another clip in him, and that was into him. There was like 1 or 2 lickers. That still, I was like, I'm fucking not fucking with these lickers. Not with this machine gun, because I know it was worthless. It was
pretty useless.
Yeah.
I mean, the hardest part of the game for me was that Carlos part where you got to do the circuit breaker where everybody's coming in.
Yeah.
And it's not even really hard. They give you plenty of ammo. It's just trying not to get overwhelmed. And then you got that, the thing coming through the door. And it's just kind of, it's not hard, but it's probably the hardest thing to do in that game, because I didn't really find any of the boss fights to be that difficult. Like you said, you could kind of tell he telegraphed Nemesis all his moves pretty well, so you could always either dodge out of the way or drop him eventually.
Yeah, and you got the point. I don't know if you've seen the Angry Joe review where he's like, "Oh, Nemesis is more annoying than a threat." That's the way.
Yeah,
you feel.
Exactly. That's pretty much what it was.
It's like, how many rockets has this fucker got?
Yeah. So I see you brought up Microsoft's cheaper next gen Xbox CPU, more powerful than the P. It's got to be more powerful because
Of course it does. I think I'd I'd mentioned this in a podcast before. It seems like this thing would disappear and reappear and disappear and reappear. Now there's more like things where Spence he's hinting at it, calling it the series in and of itself hints that there's one and one. So they might call it the Series S. You could literally call it the Series S. But some kind of cheap thing, if you take the damn hard drive out of it and you take the freaking giant video card out of it, it's going to be relatively cheap, I would think. And it's supposed to have like 5 less gigs of RAM. The RAM's of course shared, so it's only got. But that would be video RAM. You only need a shit ton of video RAM for when you're doing like lots of 4K shit. So if it's like a 1080p box, they could just go underneath the PS5 and then above it. So you've got a stronger unit PS5 and you got one lower. At this thing, I think would need to be $300 or less is what I think. But it's the rumors are starting to pop up again that this is coming and it's supposed to be revealed in August. If that's August, then we ain't finding a damn price for none of this shit until August. Because why not? If you're going to announce this thing, announce it with the Series X. Don't give a price for the Series X first, and then think, oh yeah, there's a little guy too, because that's going to piss people off.
Exactly. They're going to wait until this, and maybe at the same time, but I can't imagine them doing it before. And do you think they're still waiting on Sony to do it? Like, is it still? You think they're still looking at each other like, what's yours going to cost? Because we got to undercut that, or do you think it even matters at this point?
It does matter, man, because people bitch about all of the digital rights and stuff in the 2013 Xbox. Xbox melted because it had that damn Kinect in there. And if that Kinect, I'm still at a point, if that Kinect was an absolutely worthless piece of shit, that they would have had at least a differentiating factor to just help them a little bit. But it was $100 more, man. It's $500 for that motherfucker. And then, end up putting your damn Kinect in the closet. You hook it up at first, and then when it can't tell the difference between me and Russell, there's like a 200-pound difference between us.
Yeah, it's goes like, in the what's closet, the point?
Man. Yeah.
I remember when I got mine, I hooked it up when I first got my Xbox One, and I was like, oh, let's see if it's any better. And then once I realized that it really wasn't any better than the old one, I immediately took it to GameStop and got store credit for it because I was like, at least I can recoup some of my cost. I think because at the time they were giving like probably $50 for it or something. You're like, hey, that's a freaking game, and I'm never going to use this piece of shit again.
Yeah. Hell, it might be worth money one day, but I still got mine. It's in the closet. But you come out, you're weaker. You're not as weaker as most people think you are, but you're weaker. And then on top of this, 5% or 10% of your power is always allocated to Kinect. And then you're $100 more. And even though you have better games day one, it did not make a fucking difference. It's like just looking at this the lineup, you're gonna have Spider-Man versus freaking Halo and Forza. Clearly the Xbox has the better lineup. I mean, although the ponies would definitely say no. That's what we're getting this fall, and things like Cyberpunk and stuff are just going to be. That's going to be actually the biggest sellers. It's going to sell the most units. It's going to sell the most consoles. It's going to be Cyberpunk, but your exclusives lining up each other. They just don't have nothing yet, and Sony always releases with nothing yet. They'll get much better shit later on down the line, but so if Microsoft can come in underneath them. That's why they're not going to. PlayStation's not going to show their hand. And I've heard someone say that there's no way it could be more than $500. I'm thinking so. $500 is where they're going to go. But we ain't going to find out till August if these rumors are true. See, Xbox still has to show their first party event. People thought that third party event was Xbox main game reveal. It's not. This is their first party shit is, and they better have a fucking surprise. Halo Infinite has to be goddamn amazing. And then I don't think Forza is going to. I mean, even though Forza is probably going to be the best looking game there, does anyone expect anything less? I mean, it's just going to be Forza 7, and then they have needed a surprise, a fucking big surprise, something amazing.
Like I can't imagine. I don't know. It's like I'm trying to think. Like, what could they pull out that would be like, holy crap! I can't believe they did that.
But a new Fable. It's going to have to be open world, super fable, super amazing, some kind of RPG, something big, something kind of gamer, because Halo's a bro dudes game. Forza's a racing game. It's ultimately niche, and so it sells a lot of units, but it's niche, and so you need some gamer type games. I don't think that damn Setsuna's Sacrifice it's gonna. I mean, I don't think they're gonna make it at release. I don't know if you've seen it. It looks real good, but
Yeah.
you also what you saw of it was you just thought was CGI shit. But they need some big shit, and they need to do basically the hype. They don't like to announce shit without a damn release date. But you know what? Sony just fucking loaded their whole conference up with shit that ain't coming out. So throw out what you got, basically, and then hopefully we don't cancel your shit down the line. But that's what they need to do. And so July's the next big conference thing. Whether I even will care about seeing it, I don't even know, man. Because I'll just play it on PC anyway. So every first party game comes to PC. So it just doesn't sell a console to me, not a bit.
That's yeah, I'm kind of at that point too, where it's like I've got a PlayStation 4 that has become a DVD player, just like my PlayStation 3 did, and just like my PlayStation 2 did back in the day. Or I guess you could say it became a Blu-ray player, but whatever. And my Xbox, I've just got where I just PC everything now. I did start playing my Xbox again because my daughter wanted to play Far Cry 5. So I was like, yeah, we'll renew all our Xbox Live stuff and we'll play through it. And I forgot that game is actually pretty fun. I didn't play Dawn or whatever that newest one was. It was kind of like,
I don't know much about it. I heard it's shit.
It looked like it was not so much of like, it didn't look the same. It looked like it was something a little bit different, and I just didn't bother with it. But Far Cry 5 was kind of fun, and she wanted to play it, so I was like, yeah, sure, it'll give us something to play back and forth on Xbox Live. I think I'm going to have to track me down a copy of Saints Row 3 because she wants to play that, and I've only got one copy of it. So I'm going to have to, apparently, it's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Saints Row 3 and 2 is like if anybody had downloadable content or something, it wouldn't let you play? Didn't they have to be like
Saints
the same
Row 2 had to be the same. So I don't know if we even used the download content. I don't know. That was a big thing back in the day. You had to worry about that shit. And so I
can't remember if it was in 3 or not. And 4 is on Game Pass, but fuck 4. I don't like 4.
No one likes 4.
Once you introduce the superpowers, it kind of broke the game. Like, what's the point of getting in cars and riding around and doing stupid shit if you can just jump everywhere and super speed run? It kind of broke that game, if you know what I mean. It was the same town as it was in 3. It just didn't work for me. I mean, it was fun to play, but it wasn't the same.
They're due for something. They haven't done anything except the Agents of Mayhem game that only Drew bought. Drew was the only one who bought it, and I said, Drew, this don't look right. What the fuck? He bought it because, it's the Saints Row guys who did it. And I ain't heard nothing ever from it from being worth a damn. And so they've been working on Saints Row 5 or whatever they're going to call it the whole time. I would thought we might have seen that this year, but apparently they're not ready yet. So let them take their time because they jumped the shark. So they need to do something.
4 was technically, it started out as downloadable content anyway, and then they just went ahead and made it a full game. It was fun messing around with the superpowers, but it's almost like 2 to me was the best. And then I like the stuff they added in 3, but they need to go back to square one a little bit. You know what I mean? Just scale it back a little bit.
Yeah. It's time for a new engine. It's time for everything. I'll be interested in what they got. So, we'll see. Maybe you can reboot the whole fucking thing. Right now, the story's got nowhere to go anyway. You done beat the
It's like they destroyed the whole fucking planet at this point. I think they did before.
Yeah,
they were living in a simulation. It was like, you kind of, blew up the shark on that one.
Yeah, I'm about to polish my old Xbox off because, first of all, if you always got Castlevania HD, it's stuck on there, man. It's great that those games are going to carry with you. So if this Series S or whatever it is fucking amazing, I don't give a shit about getting the biggest fucking Xbox. Then I want to emulate. If it's a great emulator machine somehow, I get it for that. That's the only interesting reason I have for an X1X. God damn it! Why they gotta make it name this shit a freaking 1X because it has enhanced. They redid Ninja Gaiden for it and enhanced it and shit. So I'm like, I would love to play Ninja Gaiden 2, like not a fucking bunch of shit frame rates and high resolution. But you know, I'm just list off the games. Soul Calibur 1. It's best on that. Of course, Castlevania HD. It's Crazy Taxi. Is the Xbox version of Crazy Taxi? Did it have
I really don't remember.
Offspring?
I don't. For some reason, I'm thinking it didn't, but I could be wrong. Wasn't one of those they took it out because they lost the license?
They took it out when they re-released the first Crazy Taxi. Now, Crazy Taxi 3, I don't think it's backwards compatible, but it does have the Offspring in it. But that's Xbox OG. Yeah. I don't think it's BC though. And it's like without that, or if it's just Crazy Taxi 2, no one gives a shit about the Big Apple level. So it's like on 3 you had the 3 worlds, and you had a couple shit like the jump mechanic or whatever, and it felt a little like the physics or whatever, the driving physics were a little changed, but so it'd be the Dreamcast one's probably the best, and then from there, you know, I would say not Crazy Taxi though, and let me see what else is the freaking Hardcore Uprising. I'm guessing that it's better on Xbox One as opposed to PS3. I don't know, but you know, we're going to dust that shit off because I'm going to play through Hardcore. I got unfinished business there.
Yeah, do some more stuff.
Got to get some drama built up. But that freaking emulated version of Soul Calibur, that game's badass, man. And
it was really good.
Yeah, it came with all the shit unlocked. So it's like, okay, I spent all my time and had fun unlocking that stuff back in the day. Right now, give it to me. Give it to me.
I don't want to go all the way back through that shit like I did. I mean, back in the day, it was a blast. But yeah, once you're playing it older, and you mentioned the Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That one's on there, and that one's backwards compatible also.
Yeah, it's a little slower than the PS2 as far as input, but you know, it's still pretty good. It's still easy, and it's going to. Well, I don't know. They've redone Symphony, but it's probably like Konami did it through emulation, so I don't know if those Castlevania collections are worth the fuck. But
didn't they change the dialogue in one of them?
They did. So fuck those. So fuck.
Yeah, I like that corny ass voice acting. I had no problem with that at all. It was like, dude, it's part of the game. You know, especially, it's like when they redo movies and they'll be like, oh, we edited this one scene. And it's like, well, now in my memory, it seems odd because I remember it the other way.
Yeah, and I don't know how the Steam version of some of the King of Fighter games are, how good it is, but 2002 Ultimate, well, I keep naming 360 games because honestly, that's where we are, dude. We're not even worried about the freaking Xbox One shit. But the King of Fighters 2K2. Oh, another one, Mortal Kombat 9. And although that one is not backwards compatible, so you actually have to play that shit on 360 still. So that isn't even on our list. And then, of course, right now it's still the best for Saints Row 2. If they redo the PC version of Saints Row 2, now they have the source code, that one might be the best. But it's stuff like that basically backwards compatible emulated shit that's going to carry up. And of course, Rare Replay is freaking great. That Perfect Dark, the redone one in HD, that thing's awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty good also.
Yeah. Most of those 64 ports, they just run better, and they don't seem to be as shitty as the freaking N64, and they're going to carry with you. So it's like that's where I'm seeing as far as what excites me for Xbox, but just like, oh, well, having an emulated copy or whatever, is that what the best the Xbox has got? I don't know. Oh, everything's on PC, and I already have it on Game Pass. Yeah, pretty much.
Knights of the Old Republic 2 is on there, which was not as good as Knights of the Old. Knights of the Old Republic 1, I think, is backwards compatible also. I think.
Pretty sure. But you don't know how if the Steam version might be still good. I don't know. Sometimes you get some serious jank. I had to work on that Tomb Raider when I played just recently.
The Knights of the Old Republic was It was buggy as shit. I mean, it was buggy on the OG Xbox, and it was still buggy as shit on the 360. Because I remember trying it out one time and game fucking crashed, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going back to this." Yep, it's
Yeah.
on the list. Backwards compatible. Yeah, it
And
was also fucked up.
I liked Jade Empire, but it would eat my saves up. I'm like, fuck you at the end of this. And just so I've never tried I'm sure it's backwards compatible. I've never tried it. But I think that's on Steam too. It's one of those. A lot of that shit, might have came out in 2005, and then as a PC game, and then when Steam was started to get going, they were on there on the store, and hey, it might run like shit. It might not have no patches in it, but I think Xbox right now has the best version of Near Automata. That might be the big one to think of because it runs better than the PS4, and it's got like all the Game of the Year shit stacked in because it was like a exclusive like for a year on PlayStation. But yeah, just having the best version of the game is important. But how many of there's not a very big list here. It's not like over and over again like you talk on PC.
I was looking to see if they had Gayru as backwards compatible, but I can't remember. I want to say it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
That was a good do of that game.
I don't know if you could go well on the PS2 version. Well, of course, you had to have the damn import shit for that. But they had enhanced music. I don't know if the Xbox one was allowed to have the enhanced music, but honestly, it was not as good. So you end up using that shit anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the enhanced music was not as good as the OG music. King of Fighters 98. I think that was a pretty good rendition of that one. I think.
Well, is it? I think it's Ultimate 98. Now, yeah. Now, Ultimate 98's on PS2, and you can pick between. That one does have good music, so PS2 is probably the best version. But PS2 isn't freaking moving forward because Sony is retards. That just pisses me off, man. And I'm sure that pissed off a lot of people. We'll see if they get their head out of their ass. But if you're selling 40 bajillion copies of Last of Us 2 and it's like super woke, and y'all people bought it, everybody bought it, so there you go.
Did you see the drop off in sales after the first week though?
Yeah, I heard it was like 80% or something like that.
Yeah, which is at the same time though is like, well, I don't know how that is compared to other games as far as the drop off. I mean, if it was a movie and you said 80% of people quit seeing, dropped off after a movie came out one week, you'd be like, damn, that's a lot. But on a game, it's like, well, there's only going to be like a certain. I mean, that's got to be expected on games. Like, people that are really hyped about it, they're going to get it that first week. That second week's going to be people who are like, I'm going to wait until it's on sale.
I'm sure that I'm sure that Uncharted and shit have similar drop offs or 40,000 copies that pop on eBay because I sure as fuck put that damn Order 1886 up real quick. That was the whole plan. It's like my whole plan is like I know it's going to be bad. If I sell on eBay for $45 immediately, I could not feel as ripped off.
You could rationalize it and be like, yeah, man, I only paid like $50 for it at the end of the day.
So it's only like $3 an hour. That game sucked. I think they closed the whole goddamn studio down after that. It's $100 steak, man. That's the order. I don't even know if you ever played it. It ain't nothing.
Oh yeah. I remember I remember playing it for a few minutes somewhere. I was doing something and I was just like, yeah, I think my nephew had it or something. It was like this is not good. Which I mean, I didn't expect it to be good anyway.
Yeah. It's interesting that you're literally like the King Arthur's knights that had the Holy Grail and you lived for hundreds of years. That was kind of interesting. They didn't really do anything with that particularly. The steampunk stuff was interesting. But it's like you're thinking vampires or shit. There ain't no vampires in the game. They go in all in on werewolves. And they're building up. It's like, oh well, this is the intro to their real game. Real game never going to come out. It's
No.
just ending the cliffhanger, man. You're going to make your first game and end it on a cliffhanger, just assuming you're making a trilogy. It sounds like some Terminator to me.
Yeah. They were under the impression like, yeah, we're going to do this, but no.
I got some. Got something to show you here. Put this on the pause. I said put it on pause. Oh, good God.
You got to click it.
There ain't nothing better than, freaking ending property task and shit on live streams. Great. Let's see. Curse of the Moon, man. It just fucking comes out of goddamn nowhere.
Yeah, that kind of caught me off guard. I was like, you said it was coming. I'm like, holy crap. And I checked and I'm like, yeah, that's coming out like soon. Like really soon.
Yeah. I knew that kind of shit was going to happen. As soon as I say I'm just playing fucking these 2 or 3 games and they're big and they're going to take a long time, oh yeah, that's when all the shit that is kind of coming out that I was going to hold off playing the big stuff for would be, I just gotta just cry, man. That means I can enjoy this shit when I finish all my missions, but it's going to have like 8 players in it. I mean, 2 players can play at once, although I bet you that's local, but it's going to have 8 playable characters in it, and you're going to be able to be Dominique, which was the girl with the giant thighs at the shop in Bloodstain, and she's got like a spear or some shit, and there's like some guy in a robot thing, and there's like a guy who shoots, and which is pretty cool. Or maybe it's 7 characters because they get to use on both teams or whatever. But dude, I love that game. It's amazing, and I'll be excited for this shit. You ain't got to wait long.
Like about what, a week? Well, a little under 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I never finished the first one, but I finished Bloodstained, the full, the main game, but I didn't finish Curse of the Moon 1, so I need to go back and play through it before this one comes out. But it was fun. I liked it. I like the aesthetic of it. But yeah, that makes me wonder, like, if they're going to come out with another version of the full game.
Yes, sir. Hang on. Let me do my on live stream Google. There's a roadmap, sir.
Ritual of the Nap. That's what I was thinking.
They've sold. That's not what I want. I want to see the actual fucking. There you go.
Map.
Is this here? Is this? Can I get the damn roadmap right here? I don't want to go to a fucking website. Of course, it doesn't even fit. What is this? Give him what the fuck is this? Give him my goddamn roadmap. Why is it so giant?
Because they want you to use Microsoft Edge.
I'm not using the goddamn Microsoft Edge. It forced you to get that shit. I'm streaming it all up, so I'm getting slow ass internet over here.
Sold over 1 million.
Here we go. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to see right here.
Awesome.
All right, so they're going to do. It's like a boss rush. This chroma wheel is going to be like a bunch of the little guy who goes and gets you hairs and lets you change shit.
Yeah.
So he's getting more shit. That's the chroma wheel. Now this chaos mode, me and you will play. It's like a special boss rush mode. So we're not gonna be able to play the whole castle 2 players. And I figured that was when I started thinking about that. There's no fucking way.
It'd be massive. It'd be it's kind of like.
How would you do it? It's like, would you lock them into the same screen?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like it'd just be like, oh, I'm going to be over here. I mean, that castle's massive. It'd be insane.
And think about it. When you use an item, you know what you do? You press pause. You pause the game. You go to a menu, and you eat like an apple pie or some shit like that. And so what happens to the other player while you're doing that? That's the kind of shit they would have to figure it out. They would have to redo. Yeah. You'd have to rechange the controls. And I think they use every fucking button. There would need to be a food button. And so instead it's going to have a chaos mode, and it's like depending on how you do on each boss, the treasure changes. And so you would get new treasure, you'd equip your treasure. And I'm assuming that these are both going to be well, that looks like Dominique, but both of them could be Miss Miriam with the damn special hair or whatever. But so you get your treasures or whatever it is, and I'm guessing they'll be different. Because, why would you both make us use spears if one of us used one of the kung fu kicks? Maybe you have a choice between what treasure you get, and then you go to the next boss, and then you get, depending on how well you do, you get new treasures. And so what you would do is probably die a lot trying to figure out the boss. Have to go back, do better on each boss, get their timing down, get better treasures. That's the chaos mode. That's third quarter, and this is going to be some kind of. It's a multiplayer freaking competitive. I mean, hard Castlevania HD had that shit, and no one ever used that besides literally grinding your dude up. It's like so that's fucking pointless. They've got some kind of crossover in another game. I don't know what it is. I'm not interested too much in that. Well, I mean, if you look right here, it says playable character, and just looking at this hair, I'm thinking it's 2B. So that's the girl with a big butt from Nier Automata. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. So you got two crossover events. This is what's probably the single most interesting thing. It's going to have a classic mode, which is literally 6 retro style levels with like retro bosses. And I think it's just, you're not going to have gear. You're going to go through each thing. So effectively, yeah, they are going to have like a mini Curse of the Moon inside a Bloodstain. And now I think all of this shit right here, as far as I can tell, is part of the Kickstarter shit. So these are free updates. After that, they said that they're going to have paid DLC. And so, yeah, there's going to be a bunch more shit. Hell, have you played Randomizer yet?
Not yet. I need to.
It's fun as fuck. It's weird.
I watched one of your videos where you played it, and I was like, I like that idea. It looked cool. It looked like it would, make you want to go back and play the game again.
You've got no idea of what. I guess I'll crash this shit out again. You got no idea what's going to happen. And so it's like just a surprise. Oh, really? Are you about to crash on me again? You fucking SM player piece of shit. Fuck it. But it's like, so like whatever you get, you just got to fucking use it, man. You might get something amazing. You might get shit. And like you could make the actual item shop random as well. And that's going to lead to like, dude, just like if I could decraft this freaking apple pie, I could get this badass sword or whatever. That's what I ended up doing.
It's like I'm going to scavenge around.
Yeah. I've heard people bitching about some of the, I forgot what they're called, the seeds, the seeds, because you pick a number that randomizes your game. So if you actually, I forgot what seed I had. If you actually went and copied my seed, it would be exactly the same as my setup was. But people were bitching that some of the seeds weren't doable. So maybe it needs a patch. I didn't never have a problem with it. Besides that first one I played, I couldn't get a goddamn weapon. And I was playing on hard, and I couldn't kill any fucking thing, man. She starts butt-ass naked, and her kick does 1 damage. And there was like some zombies coming out of the ground, and I'm kicking them because they're the easiest monster in the game. And I could not kill them before they go back in the ground. I'm like, what the fuck? I can't even fight these guys. But once I got my partisan, man, that was it. And we worked our ass off, got to hold down the save point. It was fun, man. It like adds so much to the game. It's like a new game.
That seems like it'd be an easy fix too, where they just make it where it's like a guaranteed weapon drops at some point, on the ship. I mean, that seems like it'd be, it could be any weapon.
It probably was like that. I just didn't. There was a couple of chests I missed. You need to have played through the original game because you'll have to remember all the stupid crap. It might just pop up as a regular gear, but you actually need it. The Zangetsu sword, you need to get it to slash the moon into, right?
Oh yeah.
And so, or the Aegeus gear to be immune to spikes and shit. The only thing if I was to do it again, I would keep I wouldn't randomize the save places, the waypoints. Because what would happen if it's a waypoint, you would just way back the town if you needed to save. That's okay. But if it's like save, and then I have to make just huge marches through the damn dungeon to find a way to get back, because there was no way to use the wayfinder, the escape thing.
Yeah.
I don't hardly ever had like 2 of them. And you might not be able to even do some of the quests, because remember, you're supposed to give wayfinders to that dude.
Like to the little dude. Yeah. It's like 3 times.
And so it's like I didn't have them to get to him. I never had a shortcut key, and so I had to go to the menu every time to like change spells out. It was still great though, man. It was still fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Oh, and that's why I need to go back and play the randomizer. But that game was a blast. It was fun. I've yet to play it on the Switch. I've heard that's like the fucked up version, but the PC version was fun. It looked good. It looked really good. I had mine running in like 4K. It looked really good.
No, probably no frames, no frame problems or anything.
I don't think it really ever had any problems. I mean, it's like maybe a couple of times, but none that I really remember. Even running at 4K, and my PC is not that souped up.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a little option in there. It's I forgot what it's called, but it's like decrease input delay. And if you have vertical seek on, you can click that on, so you'll get because if you just have a 60 hertz monitor and it's not a G-Sync or whatever, it's like you have to kind of choose between whether you wanted as fast input delay as possible with a terrible screen, terrible and looks god awful, or playing with vertical sync when they didn't have delay on it. And so it's when I finally got my damn G-Sync monitor, I was like, thank God I had to make that choice no more.
oh yeah.
And so, like in Bloodstain, they had a gimmick, man. They literally had a gimmick built in on PC that you could freaking just pretty much have no input delay and vertical sync. I was like, oh, thank you, game. Thank you for bringing a fucking video game. Or some of these other things are just they don't pay attention at all to input delay, and it's like, wow, I'm playing in molasses when I play this shit.
Oh yeah.
Tons of console games like that.
Oh yeah, well it's like trying to play retro games on modern TVs, especially like when Plasma was out. It's like, oh, forget it. For like, it's like you felt like you were jumping, out of like mud sometimes.
Yeah, the small Plasmas, the 42s, or I think they were 42s. They weren't even real 1080p sets.
No, they were like 720.
Yeah. It was some half-assed hacky resolution, and then it gimmicked it up. So you already knew that your monitor was going to have to. It had no damn actual native resolution, and so it was going to have to change the damn thing. And so it's like if you wanted a decent speed, you'd have to get one of those big ass fucking like 52 plus Plasmas. Hey, they look real good, man.
Oh yeah, it's like I remember mine. They weighed like a fucking ton. I had like a 50-inch or something at one point back in the day, and it just weighed 900 pounds. But you couldn't play like old games on it at all. Especially this is back before they started having like the HD, retro NES. Yeah, all that's that was back before any of that was a thing, and you try to play it over composite and be like, this is god awful.
Sooner or later, dude. Sooner or later, they're just going to have some. Well, there's already type of things and solutions that work, and just try to display the thing as fast as fucking possible through HDMI. I think it's just shit like sweet as shit, but you can just buy it. But sooner or later, I mean, I kind of already got it. As long as you play on these G-Sync monitors, you can just freaking play emulator, and just if there's no vertical sync to slow that shit down, you're only going to get like a max of 1 frame delay. And so for everybody besides the most craziest speedrunner tard, that's good enough. Of course, the purists are going to bitch because we gotta. Because what was we buying all this tons of shit for now?
How we gonna play your Duck Hunt?
Yeah, they're gonna bitch about Duck Hunt, or they're gonna bitch about that's not really authentic, and you gotta freaking blow the game out every time.
Yep, and you gotta hold the reset button when you power it off, or it's gonna lose your save.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a problem with that? I don't remember ever having a problem with that back in the day.
On Final Fantasy specifically, once you save, it tells you to hold the reset while turning power off. So I always did, and I think Zelda's the same way.
Zelda had it on the back of the label that it would tell you to do that, and it's like I remember as a kid, like sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't, and I never lost the save. The only times I ever lost saves was when the battery would finally die, from something sitting around so long.
Oh, I've had games that it's like, oh, if you take this fucker out of the damn Nintendo, it's probably fucked. So
my Super Mario World got to the point where it's like the battery died, and as long as you kept it in the Super Nintendo, the battery save was good. But once you took it out, like it was gone, and I just replaced the battery in it. But that it seems like I've replaced more batteries on Super Nintendo and N64 than I have on old school Nintendo games. And of course, that might just be because there were less.
That's probably what you play, though. So
yeah. And I never really minded losing that Mario World save because it was fun to go back and Star 96 that game every once in a while.
Yeah, but you kind of figure out, you got to know what levels you've done. Otherwise, you might be hunting that shit down.
Oh, yeah, you'd be trying to. I would always do them like an area at a time. It would be like, because otherwise, you're gonna be. A couple of those you had to beat. Like you knew the red ones you had to beat twice, but sometimes the levels would like cross back over or something, like on that Cookie Island place, and you'd just be like, "Wait a minute, which one did I do?"
Yeah, you'd have the red one, and there was, of course, that one ghost house that had 3 saves, 3 ways to exit. I remember.
Yep.
You got to hit that shit all 3 times.
I just always thought it was odd that they stopped at 96. It's like, you think they'd cram 4 more exits in there just for the hell of it.
Yeah. I used to think the world was better than 3. Now I've changed my mind back to 3 being better than world. If you go back and play it today.
3 is hard to beat. I still like probably world overall, but it's close. It's real close. 3's up there. It's like Desert Island, and I'd probably pick world, but 3 is very fun.
Yeah, it's just like I went through, and one of these days I want to do. Well, of course I can now easily on EverDrive. I want to do the actual Famicom version of Lost Levels or Super Mario World 2 Japanese. I think you have to beat the game 5 times or some shit for something unlocked to actually do.
Crazy.
Yeah, I will look the fuck up out of everything. I remember a neighbor had it, and I'd go over there and play it all the time. The Super Nintendo one. And it's like, I made it to D4 or whatever using teleport warps. I'm like, I did it. I beat it. It's like, no, you didn't do shit. It's like, oh, well, what was it, 8 or 9's the actual one? It's like, oh, you went to D. It's like, well, what the fuck? I did go to D. D's past 9, right? Nope, apparently not.
Nope.
It's like,
I never did beat it on Super Mario All-Stars because I remember like playing it and I was like, oh, this is just like a hard version of 1. So I didn't really go that far into it. It felt different too. Not Lost Levels itself, but like the updated version of those games always felt a little off to me.
The Mario, he walks with that waddle that he has from that pimp limp from Mario 3.
Yeah,
and I don't like him doing that on the first game. And then although the graphics look pretty good for the most part, but
I didn't
like
it just
that.
Felt weird.
Yeah,
like even when you play like 2 and 3, you just be like, this feels a little off.
Of course, if you play Luigi, you got that floaty ass jumps anyway.
I hated that shit.
That's was who I was using. I remember that's the one I was using. I don't know if it was because I was having trouble getting a running start to get the maximum jump out of Mario. I think most people use Mario though, but I was using Luigi for them high jumps. Man, you just got the floaty ice damn stop.
Yeah. Well, I remember if you remember in World, Mario and Luigi were identical in World. It was just a color change. But what they did, and I think they started it with you remember the All-Stars version that came with Super Mario World already on it? Yeah. That one had like an updated version of Luigi that he looked different and he jumped different. And then when they came out with it on Game Boy Advance, they included it also. Like that was like the definitive, like, oh yeah, Luigi's different. He's not just a color change.
Are you talking about the first one?
Yeah.
Did the first? Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
The Super Mario World. Because if you go back and look at Super Mario, it's like, because you remember All Stars only had like Lost Levels and then 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
But the cartridge that had Mario All Stars that had Mario World and stuck on there with it, it had a different Luigi for Mario World. And it made him, he had a different jump and a different look. And I guess it was like an afterthought. They're like, I guess it was like, like when you find ROMs, they'd be like 1.2 or 2 point something version.
Yeah.
I guess I was trying to look it up and I sent it to you, but it's like he has a different look, and that's kind of like the definitive version of Mario World. But because I would always end up being Luigi when I'd play with my sister, I'd be like, I'll be Luigi. He's cool. He's green, kind of purple. He just looked different, especially after you'd see like, Mario all the time. You'd just be like, oh yeah, he's different. I like the green.
I still don't have a.
Do what?
I still don't have a Switch.
Well, now's the time to buy one, man. It only costs you like $500 probably.
Yeah, fuck that noise.
It's like I saw a Switch Lite at Walmart the other day. It was the only one there. I was half tempted to be like, man, I should buy that on eBay and make a quick $100 off of it probably. But
it's fucking outrageous. Babysitting their kids. Fucking Nintendoids.
that's what it's, it's what I don't know. Back when we were growing up, I'm sure your parents were like, "Don't get too close to that TV; it'll fuck your eyes up."
You'd hear that. There was. I even knew I was restricted on when I could play. I was like, when I got home Friday, I could play. And then like I couldn't play till noon the next day. I could play noon to 6. And he usually Daddy had chores for my shit. Oh, I was pulling weeds or something. He had something lined up for me. He'd find something. I could play from noon to 6, and then like Sunday I could play from like noon to 6. So you freaking need to get your time in, especially if you're playing something like Final Fantasy 2, man. You got RPGs. Hours going to suck away.
Got that in there, get that save in there.
Yep. Couldn't play none during the week.
It's like mine. I remember I had to get my homework done, and on the weekend, it's like I had a bedtime of like 9 or 9:30 when I was little. I don't remember, but I don't remember ever being like. Well, I tell you what, it's like when I first got my Nintendo, I didn't have a TV in my room, so it was like I could only play when they weren't watching TV, so it was like few and far between. But then they ended up giving me a TV that was my sister's when she lived there, and it was like a black and white TV that was teeny tiny, one of those little bitty ones.
I had that too.
So I played the shit out of it out there. I mean, it's like it was interesting, but you knew like, oh man, I would have played on the big TV, which at the time the big TV was probably like 20 inches, like in the den, one of those big ass counter ones where you can like put shit on top of it.
And like another TV.
Yeah, I knew some friends that did that, man. You go in their house and they'd be like, yeah, we watched the TV on top, and one of the bottle's dead, but we just use it for like, put shit on top of it.
So I had the little one, but one of the cool things is they had this old Zenith, and it had with the 4-button clicker, the one where you physically click the button down and like you seen and so I eventually was able to get that thing in my room, and so I had a big TV, and then you kind of had to bang on it because the color would go out or whatever, or you just beat the shit out of it on the side, and then I can't remember. I think I ended up getting a 27-inch TV or something like that I bought myself. I saved up like my money, my $300 or whatever the hell they used to cost back in the day. And dude, I think I got that around the N64, probably a little bit before that. And then somewhere in the Super Nintendo world, I got that thing. No, I'm pretty sure I have a Super Nintendo because it's playing Street Fighter on it and shit like that. And then so, dude, that TV was amazing, man. And then I hooked up my stereo, my Big Lots fucking stereo. It was like a case. You unhooked that case, right? And the speakers were pretty much like the opening part. So you unfolded the speakers and you had your little unit in there. So I'm like, okay, I freaking unscrewed the back of the speakers to separate them from the unit, and then I put them on the left or the right of the TV, and eventually figured out, hey man, I don't have to use this RF switch. I can use these video cables because that freaking that TV had that yellow on it, or I think it even had the S video. And so I'd get that S video fucking cable, and then the two audios, and it was stereo. Man, I was losing my goddamn mind because this is like freaking just amazing as hell, man. I thought I was the shit on my damn stereo TV.
Going over to your house, and like you could hear, like if you had something played, you could hear like shit playing through the wall, and you'd be like, you'd have to knock extra loud to be like, especially if you're home by yourself, because it's like nobody'd hear you.
I'd have this shit blasted, man. I love that stuff.
It's like you'd just be walking up the walkway, just hear like Hadouken fly through. You'd be like, "Yep, Steve is playing. He's home."
Yeah, I loved it, and so I'm always had stereos or some shit hooked up to my TV. After then, those little tower of power things that you see on Nitro, I'd have that shit on my damn TV.
And what's funny is like that used to be a thing. You remember like in the 90s, you had to have like a really nice stereo set up for your room. And now I guess you could still go buy them, but you just don't see them that much. It's like they're smaller now, and they're like, oh man, this one little speaker could do as much as one of those massive speakers back then could, I guess.
You had to pay a lot of money, and sometimes they have like literally sound freaking lights on them. They go they're for like karaoke and shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like every time I see one now, I'm like, it looks more like a karaoke machine. Where
Yeah.
it's like back when we had them, they looked like damn, like they had like tubes and shit on them, like subs or something. Like it was
Yeah,
like,
they're sucked in the air, and they're called mini systems. They could sit on your shelf. But normally I would try to they look like they would go together, but I normally would separate them apart. And then if I needed to extend the damn wire around the dang TV, I actually had extra wire, and then I'd wire it up. But just play them shits all the time. And I think the last time Brian was over at my house, I still had this shit actually hooked up. He laughed at my ass. I was like, "Fuck you, Brian." So that's my setup.
I about to say, talking about old TVs, I never will forget when I was still playing on my parents' old. It was a Zenith, and it was the big old massive console TV. I had just got to like the first water level on Mario, which was like, what was it, like 2-1 or something like that, or 2-2 or whatever it was. It was whatever that first water level was. I just got there, and I was like, "Holy crap, I can get here now!" And the freaking TV got struck by lightning, and I was like, "Oh!" And this was back when you could you would take your TV and you'd drop that shit off, and you'd hope they fucking fix that shit. And I remember like a week later, they're like, "Yeah, the TV's finally fixed." And I had to go a whole week after seeing that level of not being able to play Nintendo. I was sad. I was a super sad kid.
The TV repairman, man. Steins Gate, which is like this visual novel. It's a good anime as well. It's like they had a guy who that's what he did. He fixed the CRT TV, and that's actually how they did the time travel shit. Was related to the TV, one of the CRTs. But I remember I must have probably even been like, it was probably back when I was pissed off from the freaking huge input delay on all the old school LCDs. Those $3,000 ones, the DLPs, the plasmas, and I was just so fed up with that shit. And I was like, dude, I wonder if I could just find a damn CRT repairman, go up there and just buy the best thing he's got. Could I do that? it's fucking.
I remember for a while when my retro set up, I would just use it, and whenever one would die, I would just go up to Goodwill and just be like looking, because you could get them for like less than $10. You'd be like, "I'll take that CRT. It's got freaking S video on it," and you try to find one that was like flat. You remember for a while they did them where they're CRTs and they had a flat screen, but you could still use the light guns on them.
Yeah.
And you would try to find one of those Sony Tritons. You'd be like, you find that, and you'd use it until it fucked up and the color got all bad. You go find you another one.
Which probably wasn't very long.
No, by that point they were so fucking old. Like sometimes you would get one, and it's like after a couple of weeks they'd start fucking going haywire.
Yeah. When mine goes out, I'm not going to go and hunt down a CRT. I'm going to hunt down an alternative solution. And I'm sure there's stuff out there. I got to do my research. But we're fucking might be coming. You might come over one day, and I've literally got all the Nintendos and shit back in the fucking damn living room. Right now, I've got them off on their own room, and they're all hooked up to the freaking dang TV. I bet you once the HDMI 2.1 shit gets like prominent. Right now it's only the biggest, fanciest shit. Once it's prominent, and once you get the not the LCDs, but the old LEPs or whatever the fucking ones, the expensive ones. Those they scroll the way a CRT scrolls. Because on the LCD, when your shit scrolls, it's like you lose half resolution as soon as the shit starts moving. The shit looks really good when it's static, and then it looks blurry as fuck when it starts moving. But those will keep their effect, and so it'll look the way a CRT would look if you can find some fucking way to do it. Brian used to talk about it's the FrameMaster. I would tell him over again, no way, Brian, that's not how that shit works. The FrameMaster is only good for recording. It ain't good for playing. Then you would go to the forums, and you'd have people who have been playing on the FrameMaster for years, or something like that, or they've been playing just on their damn TVs, and you tell them, "Hey, man, you got a bunch of a freaking input delay. You got lag," and he would just say, "Fuck you. There's no goddamn way."
Oh yeah, they get used to it.
Yeah, and I had to deal with that shit for like a decade, man. It was the Street Fighter 4 scene that really, the esport type scene of it that really came through, and it's like finally people started noticing this shit. And so you had the displayinputlag.com or whatever the hell it is. And now you have the RTING, the reading site or whatever. It has the input delay built in per resolution, per TV. I was like, oh, thank God that somebody's got off their ass and figured this shit out.
It was definitely there. And it's like, I remember one thing that I would always notice is people would be like, man, it's like, I'm just not as good at this game as I used to be. Like, I used to be awesome at it. And I'm like, it ain't because, like, granted, you do get rusty, but a lot of it was, oh, you're trying to play that shit on a new TV and you got input lag. You're actually worse because you're playing in fucking slow motion. Because that's like, I would give the TVs like the Mario test. I could fucking run through Mario level 4-1. I could run straight through that shit, jumping, never stopping, never slowing down, and never get touched. And certain TVs I can do it on, and certain TVs I can't. And I can tell when there's like a lot of input lag, it's like it fucks my timing up, and that's how I can always judge it. But it's there. You don't realize it until you play it on an old CRT again. You're like, oh yeah, I'm way better now.
No, not code. Hope you don't see my code.
Everybody knows what your code is. They're gonna hack into it.
Fucking 1, 2, 3, 4,
5.
Goddamn SM player. If I'd updated it, maybe it wouldn't be pissy at me.
If you start using fucking Winamp like a real man,
I have Winamp. Shut up. It don't play freaking MP4s, man. Or maybe it does. I don't know.
You got to get the updated version to play, so it whoops the llama's ass and plays MP4s.
Well, what other kind of random fucking videos do we got going on here? Oh, shit. No Mercy Presidential 3-Way. Fucking put that shit up.
Oh, God.
New impler.
I love me some No Mercy.
Bro, we used to play the fuck out of them games.
Oh, man. I remember, the day you got revenge. You remember us making a trip up to, Douglasville. It's like you, me, and Will. Shane might have went. I can't remember. But it was like No Mercy. I mean, not no. But the Revenge comes out. We've been playing the shit out of what was it?
World Tour.
I remember we were mesmerized that you could slide in and out of the ring. You remember that? That was like the fucking highlight. We could slide in and out of the ring real fast.
I don't know if that's the one where you could. I don't think you could run with weapons yet. I'm pretty sure you couldn't.
I don't think you could in that one. I think it was so funny because those games, they really knew how to everyone was a little bit more advanced. They knew how to and you look back at them now and they're like, oh, look how limited this was. In that whole Nintendo 64 PlayStation era, some of that shit's hard to go back and play. But
yeah,
some
Nitro.
Fuck it, that was god awful anyway.
Fucking Nitro.
But you know what I mean? The Castlevania games on Nintendo 64, it's you look at that shit, it looks fucking horrible. I mean, they were horrible, but they looked horrible too. Just looked like shit. All that early 3D technology. I mean, even Ocarina of Time, you look at it, it's they did good for what they had, but it's just
less than the freaking 25 frames or less. Or you went into some of those areas and it's you could go into a little hut and it would be a static fucking picture, like Resident Evil, and it was just washed out.
And you could run fast as hell all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That shit wasn't, just
you had the full frame rate. You had the full 30 or whatever it was.
Yep.
And so there was lots of good N64 games, man. That was 3D acceleration at the time. Okay, that was mint mapping. I think it was called mint mapping.
I think so. I remember Quake 2. I don't remember if Quake 2 had to have the expansion pack. I think it had an option for the expansion pack, and it ran like glass with that expansion pack. I mean, it's the thing is it sucked because it was Quake 2 and it wasn't on the PC and you couldn't do all your mods and everything, but damn, it sure did run smooth.
Do you know the levels were different?
Yeah.
Yep, and I think we could play. Could you play co-op?
No, I don't remember co-op. I know there was versus.
There's deathmatch. Yeah,
we didn't play much deathmatch, but I don't think it had co-op. But I can't remember. It's been so long. But I don't think you had to have the expansion for it. I think there was an option for it, like most games. But there was a handful you had to have it for. I think Majora's Mask, Donkey Kong 64. I'm sure there's a couple more in there you had to have it.
Perfect Dark was really limited without it, if I remember right.
It was limited with it.
Shit.
Fucking damn frame rate was shit.
Yeah, it was bad, bro. Turok. Speaking of Turok, Chief, they re-released Turok 2 for Steam, but they always charge too much. Amazon Games is supposed to have it in July. It's free. So I'm like, oh, really? And so I went through and I got my Amazon game thing. I haven't even played it yet. But you can just claim a bunch of shit. You claim all these games because I mean, you have Prime, don't you? Because I do.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, I got Prime. I'm never going to get rid of Prime. Let me go through. And so we're going to I ended up getting, I think it was Forsaken. You remember Forsaken? That's an N64 game.
I remember the picture of the game. I don't remember. It wasn't a fighting game, was it?
It's kind of like Descent. I don't know if it was made by the same guys who did Descent. I know it's related to Descent somehow. It ran fast even on the N64, but it had some washed out graphics. But
I think I'm thinking of Mace. Mace was the one that was a fighting game, but I remember Forsaken. I remember like the cover art for it.
Yeah. Did you? How much Mace did you play?
Very little. Me and you played it, I think, the most.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you own it or did you rent it? You know,
I might have rented it, but I definitely had it for a while.
I about to say I remember played it. Had some dude with a sword that was. I mean, you know, it's like
Lord Demos. He was a badass, man. He was a fucking badass with that giant sword. But it had a bunch of other guys. There's like everybody else was kind of like not as big or awesome as Lord Demos. Besides, there was like this giant. I wouldn't call it an alien. I forgot how. I don't know what kind of monster you'd call it. It kind of looked like the fucking monsters in Spawn, just like big, huge demon thing. He was in there, and he had the executioner, who he had the axe and the freaking the mask on his head. There was like a Valkyrina bitch who's like a wizard, and then some guy who had a mace. I think a couple of Asian type dudes. But you mainly just you'd be two mirrors of Lord Demos. That's what fucking mirror match Lord Demos.
That's like the only thing I remember, because I remember playing it at your house and being like, "Oh, this is kind of neat," even though that controller is not really great for fighting games. It was interesting.
Not one damn bit. And these days with my 5,000 hours of Virtua Fighter, I appreciate the 3D games like that no more. Instead of, I would normally scoff at them. Back then, I would scoff at them. But I liked Mace. I could never. The arcade mode is so fucking hard, and I'm pretty sure you had limited continues, and I'd get about halfway through, and it would be like near on impossible. I think there was like a genie type bitch too. I think I remember there might be a genie girl. That was a cool game, man. That would be a game that you would need a remaster, but Midway is fuck. I don't know. Somebody owns it. Yeah, somebody owns it. Midway don't exist. Somebody owns the shit, and no one's going to bring it up. Did you see all the EA games that were put on Steam recently?
No. Did they put like older Madden games on there, or was it like older?
No, there hasn't never been a Madden for Steam. I mean, for PC before until now. So Madden 21 or whatever they're going to call it, that's coming for Steam. FIFA 21 is coming for Steam. They brought back every fucking thing that they had. That they kind of. If you had bought it, you still had access to it because I had Dragon Age Origins and I still had access to it, but they didn't advertise it. And I don't think you could sell it to people.
Yeah.
So they brought back all of their old catalog, and they're putting pretty much everything they've had on what's the fucking Origin. They're bringing it all over, so you can get like Mirror's Edge for like 97 cents. They had a big sale and they brought it back. So they came back in like a big way. I think between that and their Star Wars little shooty game, they're trying to get the hardcore gamer. Of course, the biggest thing would be the remaster for Command and Conquer. I'm sure you heard of that one.
Yeah,
that's I put it on my wish list. I think they had already put it on sale. Like I'll wait for it's like $10, man. Freaking Command and Conquer Red Alert was so goddamn good, man. I loved the fuck out of that. Fucking dumbasses. They of course everyone that EA made itself, every Command and Conquer they've ever made is shit, but
it's like when they took over The Sims. You remember? It's like when they did they buy out Maxi or Maxis or whatever it was? I can't remember.
It might have been as early as some of the expansions for like Sims 1, but by the time it was well before Sims 3 where they had owned the shit. But
yeah.
I think Sims 2, they might have just left Maxis alone. But then, Sims 3, they were clearly involved. It was like a huge step back. Oh, there was some
I
cool
think there was like
things.
by the time they started getting into those Sims 2 expansion packs where it's like the party town or some shit like that or whatever. It's like, you know, you
I
could
don't.
go out of
Yeah.
it got
I
pretty bad.
I don't know. I don't know if you can blame that on EA because I think Maxis was cranking them goddamn expansion packs for Sims 1 even before EA got there.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. But the expansion abuse was definitely in the first game because I definitely had, there's like 7 or 8 discs. And then by the time you start stacking in, that you might have this feature from Hot Date, and then like it's in fact, which will, it's like, oh, if you have Hot Date, this thing from the pets one will, they'll combine and work, or you'll have glitches. And you'll end up with stuff that's like, oh, well, I have a puddle here, and it's like glitched the fuck out, and I can't do anything. You have to have a cheat code to delete it. And it ends up being like this huge stem. Of course, loading the game up would take 1,000 years too. We're reticulating spleens for like 5 hours. It just got bloated. It just got bloated with
Oh,
shit.
it got bad.
And then every time another one comes out, we're gonna take all your shit away from you and make you start over.
I remember the first one got pissed at me because it didn't like how much RAM I had in my computer at the time. When I'd built a new computer, like when I had that Pentium 3, it was fine. And then I built that one. It was like the first 1 gigahertz computer I ever had, where it had the Athlon, whatever it was.
Thunderbird shit or something.
Yeah, it was like a Thunderbird. It was a 1 gigahertz, which was like really fast for the time. And I remember, I think I had like 256 megabytes of RAM, which was like fucking damn insane for the time because most people only had like 64 or some shit. And I remember like at 256, it would not install. It would error out and get pissed. And if I took one of the RAM sticks out, it would install perfectly fine. And then if I put it back in, it wouldn't run the game. And it was the same brand RAM. It wasn't like it was two different brands or anything. But it did not like running with like both sticks of RAM in there. And I'd take one out, it'd play fucking perfectly good every time. It was fucked up.
Yes, Sims 3 might be on Steam now, but I don't think the old ones are. Those weren't even, they 2 didn't even have widescreen support. It was early 2002, 2003, somewhere in there. And so actually Doom 3 when it came out didn't have widescreen support. If I remember right, it was 1600 by 1200 as far as you can go.
I was about to say, I don't think it did. I think they added it later. But yeah. I remember it being very, like, it still was full. I mean, shit, man, that was back before everybody had widescreen computers and monitors and fucking TVs.
When I bought that first LCD, it was actually a 16x10, so it was a damn weird-ass resolution to begin with. You'd have to go to, I think it's widescreendisplay.com or some shit like that, and then you would, for each game, it would either say, oh, it natively supports it, or it doesn't, and this is how you do it. And you don't have to go in iNow file and fucking fake that shit. And it would, you could make it stay into the 4x3, but stretch the screen bar, or it might just be a fucking big ass bloat thing, or it might would just work. It just add extra screen to it. All that shit you'd have to do, and that's why I never did get one of those like super duper turbo core. You've seen the super down ones, like it's 21:9. The ultra wide screen with the curves play. I've never bothered getting one, even though they look fucking cool. Well, I mean, one thing, it eats your video card alive, but it's like, I'm like, how many games are going to support that? I don't know if it does, it would be freaking awesome, but how many other games you're going to be stuck with like just massive freaking black borders on the side, man?
And then you'd be trying to figure out how to get it off. Like, you remember when DVDs first started coming out, and they're like, the fucking widescreen DVD sucks, man. It cuts off part of my screen. It's like people had trouble realizing that it was actually showing more picture, even though it was showing smaller black bars.
Yeah, I was there being stupid.
What if I zoom it in? If I zoom it in, it'll make it full screen, because fuck these widescreen things. I remember that was before widescreen TVs were a thing. Unless you were spending like over $1,000, you didn't have a widescreen fucking TV. They were all 4x3, and then you get a DVD player. Or there were some like VHSs that were in widescreen. I remember, I think Gladiator had a widescreen version on VHS.
Yeah. You'd have to go, because Walmart would all have all the full screen ones, and so you'd have to, get your shit at Walmart. You got to go get it at Blockbuster or something. Yep. And then, or usually dig through Blockbuster's dump bin where they're done with their shit. I remember one of the first movies I got for PS2 was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. You got it for like $4. Boy, that game was. I mean, that movie is fucking great. I was hooked, man.
I remember the first DVD I ever bought was End of Days. And it sucked. That Schwarzenegger movie. The only reason I bought it is because I bought that PC that was like that Pentium 3 and it had a DVD drive. And it was like, holy shit, man, I got power DVD. I could sit here and watch it on my 17-inch monitor. And I did. And it sucked. But it was a bargain bin thing from like freaking Blockbuster. It was like, I just wanted something on DVD to like, just to watch. And I was like, oh, it's got Schwarzenegger. And nah, it was shit. All I remember is the freaking devil guy like peeing like gasoline on a car and lighting it up or something. That's about the only thing I remember about that movie.
And he fucked that dude's wife and daughter at the same time, and he messed them into each other. I mean, I remember that shit. And Arnold, he took like yesterday's pizza or some shit and just put it in a blender and blended it up and drank it.
I seem to remember that too. That is about. I remember it was just he looked scruffy as shit. You know, it's just I don't know.
I thought that it's one of those okay things. You don't go and really worry about it, but at the time it was okay. That's what I thought. He'd already lost his prime, man. I haven't even seen any of the new shit since he quit being the governor. Besides, Genesis. God,
I'm trying to remember. Was Genesis the newest one, or was that the next newest one?
That was 5. So I haven't seen Dark Fate. Now you probably.
I haven't seen Dark Fate. I saw Genesis, and it was just that whole movie was like, what the fuck? I mean, there was a couple of cool scenes, like when he shows up to kill the original Terminator, and they kind of recreated that scene minus Bill Paxton. You know, where he's originally getting his clothes. That was neat, but the rest of the movie was dog shit. I didn't mind what's her name as a Sarah Connor, but it's just it got fucked up near the end. And at the end of it, he got like redone. So it's like at this point, like, is he fucking damn a T-1000? Like, why is he old looking?
There's a great. I don't know if you know who Red Letter Media is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have one. I think they have Science Guy or whatever, where Mike Scalotto just wears a science suit. He's all dry anyway, but he's like super dry, and he explains the timeline, and it's like this freaking 30-minute fucking thing, and it's just funny as shit, man. Because that movie's fucked. That movie's super fucked.
It's like you watch it, and then like I said, it's interesting when he shows up and he's taking. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be like alternate universe type shit or alternate time. Like, it's just like one fucking what the fuck's going on after another. You just after a while you just don't even give a shit. And that's like with Dark Fate. It's like I'm done. I'm checked out.
That's the problem with most of those time traveling shits. As soon as you start to try to complicate your time story, it's going to go to shit real bad. From plot holes, or you can't keep your shit consistent. Even, and I can't remember exactly all the plot holes in Back to the Future 2, but even compared to the first one, it's like loaded. Or shit that just the time works the way it needs to work for the plot kind of thing.
I thought they did a good job in Looper. Do you remember Looper?
I've seen it. I don't remember it though.
I just remember they started like getting into a conversation about how time works, and they just kind of blow over it. And they're like, "Look, man, we can sit here and draw strings across the room all damn day long." It was like, "Fuck it, you don't need to know how this shit works. You just need to know it's time." And I was like, that was probably a pretty smart move. It's like you start. It's kind of like in Endgame, where they're like, all that shit's fucking different, and they kind of go into detail, but not really. So that way, it kind of makes it, innocuous. Doesn't really matter. That's like Highlander. I love the fucking first Highlander movie, but my God, everything. You can't have a movie where it's like there's 2 immortals left, and the last one, it's like after the last was dead, there's no more. It's kind of a final fucking thing. You can't just keep going at it. It's like, oh no, there's another one. This guy was buried in a cave, and that's why. No, fuck it. You should just stop at one. Be done with it. Heaven forbid, though, anybody see it now, they'll fucking like, oh my God, it's got some dude with the rebel flag as his wrestling attire. It's like they'll fucking Me Too that movie.
So that's how it works. Everything's Me Too.
Yeah, it'll be Me Too. It'll be fucking damn, because it's like in the beginning of the movie, they're like at a wrestling event, and And I remember watching it with the commentary on, because that was one of the first DVDs I ever bought too, and it had like the commentary track, and I was like, "Oh, that's fucking awesome! You can listen to it." And they were like, "Yeah, we were going to have it at a hockey game, but they thought this movie was too violent for hockey, so we just said fuck it and got a wrestling event." And they used like real wrestlers that had like the free birds were on it and shit like that.
Did you hear about Dr. Disrespect or whatever?
Which one is that one?
Dr. Disrespect. That's the Twitch guy. I mean, I know, me and you don't watch Twitch, but he's pretty famous. He has the freaking fake Jerry curl wig, and he wears the big mustache.
I think I know who you're talking about now.
Yep. He's been banned from Twitch, but no one knows why, and so it's like the big super mystery of the moment. But you know, they literally, because on Twitch you have subs, so so these subs, they've given him money, and then Twitch gets a little bit of the money, and then it's like he gives them rewards or special access to shit like that. But Twitch literally gave them back their money for subs, which I thought is bizarre.
That's weird.
Yep. And then so they haven't. He said that they haven't told him why he's banned, so we don't know if this is true. And then there's rumors that he's been banned from like all platforms. It's like going to be banned from all streaming platforms.
His ass, man.
Yeah. So we'll find out. When he's like, is it involved with the crazy shit, or is it something particular to him? It's one of those things where if you leave these kind of mysteries on Twitter for fucking 2 days, just a like 2 days, it's like that's like 2 years in Twitter terms.
Oh yeah, it could be like it'll be all fucked up. It'll be like, oh man, did you hear? Like he was, fucking a goat, like, in the back alley of a damn orphanage or some shit. It'd be like people's minds will go fucking crazy. And it's like, just say whatever it is. But I mean, who knows? It's like one of those, like, it makes you wonder, it's like, does he even know? It could be like, oh, fuck, did I do something at some point and, just don't fucking realize it or don't. I mean, not that, it's like, I think some of these things are people will pop up and be like, such and such did something to me like back in 1972. And you'd be like, what the fuck did I do? And it's like, and it's to them, like, maybe it was a big outstanding thing in your mind and maybe it was fucked up. But in the other person's mind, you'd be like, I forgot about that. Maybe I did do something fucked up and just don't remember.
Yeah. And then, damn it, I lost my train of thought. We ain't got much of train of thought anyway. We're just fucking going, man.
This is bullshit.
Damn it, I had a point. Now I don't have a point. Fucking God. Oh, I'll just skip to something else. The reason why I'm so goddamn tired is those beaver motherfuckers who had ate half of that tree and then it fell in the other tree. Well, the tree finally fell over and it fell into the lake. I'm like, oh goddamn.
That sounds like a lake's problem.
It's going clear across my fucking damn my lake view, man. It's all like literally long ways across my damn my part of the lake. I'm like, I'm gonna get rid of that fucker. I don't know what. I'm not using the fucking electric chainsaw in the water.
No, that'd probably be a bad idea.
So I went and I bought a hacksaw.
That sounds not very fun.
Dude, it is god awful because the tree's heavy. There's a whole lot of limbs. The limbs actually came off pretty fast. You're just sawing in the water, underneath the water. It's kind of weird because the sawdust turns into like just kind of like this mist underneath the water.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm not really fucking with the mud, so I could see. And then I got all the little limbs. Yeah, they're too heavy to pick up just straight from the lake. And of course, they're like branched out. They might be 10 foot of limbs or whatever I've just cut. So I would pry it onto the boat, like wedge it on there, and then I'd take the boat to land and freaking take the limb off from there. Dude, I got towards the end, or where I want to cut. I want some of it to go into water because turtles can climb up it, and then that's always cool. Yep. But I got to the end where I'm cutting down into it. I damn sure need to spin that motherfucker around. It's literally moved, but two sides are moving when I'm cutting on it. But I was so gassed from just chopping on this shit for like an hour that I finally said, fuck it, walked off. I'll have to go back in. We have to get revenge, man. It's got a little inkling left, but every time you go to resaw into that thing, it's then pushed the two damn logs together. And so like you pretty much have to resaw to get back into the damn slot.
It pinches them together.
Yeah. And if it's like, you're like, yo, let me push on this. It's in the fucking water. So it's like, it's essentially, it hasn't hit the ground yet. It's like you're pushing at it. You're just pushing the whole fucking tree under the
Thing.
water, and you're like, God damn it! And so pretty much when I'm towards that last part, or when I'm chopping on it, the whole damn saw is underneath the water. You're just pushing water up and down when you're doing that shit. And I've just been sawing and sawing and sawing on that one cut. We're gonna get it though, man. It's almost done.
I was about to say you could have went and rented a chainsaw.
Just rented one and fucked it up.
Yep. I mean, really, it's like what, probably like $35-$40 a day or some shit. It's like, just use it. I mean, they can go underwater as long as the engine ain't underwater. You're fine. It's like you just use the blade underwater.
That's it. I thought about that because I have an electric that would probably do it, but I mean, I'm like, fuck no. I'm
that electric one is like a saw in the sense of it cuts through stuff, but that's about it. Because I've used that electric one.
Yeah, I like it. I just don't need a damn super duper saw, and so the electric one I ain't gonna do maintenance on, besides put oil in it or whatever. That's good enough for me. But apparently not if I gotta fucking get underweather down tree action. And of course the goddamn thing's still alive. Of course it is. Even though it's fell completely in the water. It has enough. Of course, you're in the water, so you just suck it up. And then of course it has enough attached to the actual stump or whatever. It has a bunch of little leaves growing out of the stump, like little bitty leaves. It's almost like a bush underneath the tree.
Be a shrub.
Yep. We almost got it, but that just gassed me out, man, for the whole day. So, and I had the drivetrain on my car replaced. I had some kind of leak somewhere or whatever. So between that, I've been gassed out, and so I ain't got no brain or whatever. Freaking no thoughts, no brains. I had, what was it, like 2 stories or whatever I brought up. But hey, man, I don't play Curse of the Moon 2. I don't play that shit.
It'd be a blast.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. I'm almost positive that it ain't online though, so I have to get local somehow.
Yeah, I can't imagine it having online. It'll probably be local. It's like maybe if I'm not working until I die, it's like maybe one day I can come visit again. Damn. It's like, it's just one of those things. It's summertime. It's like I look forward to the winter, the fall.
Jason got me freaking Streets of Rage 4, and I didn't even have a chance to play it yet. Although
it's
also
Game Pass.
Yeah, that's what I say. Well, he's such a Streets of Rage, like Sega Genesis retard. He was gonna get it. So he like the day one, he bought me a copy and him a copy, and it's like, well, we do share accounts, man. I could just play yours, but we gotta have 2.
Gotta have 2 just in case. I heard it's really good.
Yeah, I might between that Amazon shit, Game Pass, I might actually download the goddamn Epic Game Store thing and just get the free games because they do 1 game a week. Let's pull out what they got.
I was about to say they were doing Grand Theft Auto 5 not that long ago. I didn't even download it to get the GTA 5, and I was like, damn, it's like that game ain't expensive now, but it was interesting.
Just gotta be hostile against Epic. I know what you're trying to do, you assholes. PC game guides right there. Is this gonna be easy to use, or are you gonna load me up with cookie settings and everything else here?
Coming soon is Hugh. I heard that wasn't a bad game.
Oh, don't do an individual fucking icon for each thing. I just want to list assholes.
No, they want you to
updated list. Gave away that's old. Can't you just have this shit in Wiki? Just gotta. Everything needs to come from Wikipedia first, man.
But it could be edited, and God knows what somebody might put on.
I don't give a fuck. It'll be edited to be easier. Give me my list.
They got Death Stranded. I mean, when's Death Stranded 2 coming out? What's his name was already like, he is not going to make a goddamn
list of games. No. Before I found it so freaking fast, a nice list. It was just a line of lists, no freaking bunch of word. God damn it. Here we go. They were doing it slow. They were doing it. Stranger Things 3, never. I don't know about that shit. Sounds like crap. Escapist 2, Pathway, Samurai Showdown, Neo Geo Collection. So I guess it's Ark. I thought that was free anyway. Overcooked. I'd be interested in playing. Borderlands, I'm not particularly because although that's the entire collection. Civilization 6 is probably the biggest thing they have.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5, Amnesia, which I heard's pretty good. I think that's just like a hidey cat game where you hide from the monster. Never heard of the other two. You got Just Cause 4, although those Avalanche Studio games, they just suck, man. They're all bad. Heard of Gone Home is okay.
I thought it said Gnome Home for a minute. I thought
the Gnome Home sounds like we need to get that shit right now. I've heard the Stanley Parable is pretty good. Some of this shit, of course, is like that might have been their big game because a lot of people were playing that. I think that's some kind of asymp. It's kind of like God damn it, what's the Valve game? There's two of them. Of course,
Counter-Strike.
Not Counter-Strike. It's the zombie ones versus the humans. Man, my brain's
Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead. I think World War Z is kind of like Left 4 Dead. Original Watch Dogs. Of course, see, Ubisoft ran away from. They ran away from Steam. That this month doesn't look, but look how much shit they had. They had tons of shit in March.
March was a shitty month.
As Assassin's Creed Syndicate, the Kingdom Come Deliverance, I've heard decent amount. They tried to do a historical RPG based on like a real history. I forgot which country it was. Maybe that Pandemic. Is that the one that everybody was getting from? No, there was one everybody was playing for COVID. I can't remember. I don't think that was it. Darksiders 1 and 2.
Farming Simulator 19.
I seen the Farming Simulator. That would be your game. I would probably those games are probably like shells of games, like the Train Simulator.
So.
They just freaking heard the Wolves Among Us was very good. I would assume that'd be the whole thing. 12 days of free game. Super Hot's supposed to be good. Celeste, I always wanted to get Celeste. I haven't done it. And same for Faster Light. Same for Hyper Lights Drifter. I don't know if that's Shadow Tactics. I don't know about that. This is made by this Serious Sound people. I don't know what exactly that was entailed. So Rayman Legends, that game looked good. Of course, the Messenger's great. Ruiners sucked. It was kind of like looked like some like asymmetric. I mean, not asymmetrical, but you're the isometric game when you're like looking down from the sky, kind of like Diablo. But the gameplay was reminding me of trying to be like Hotline Miami, but it was nowhere near with the good. Heard things about Soma. I think that's the game where you go underneath the sea in a submarine or some shit. I guess in this Alan Wake games, like the remaster. I don't know. I never played that.
I think so.
That was something we could ask Eddie about. Although he probably like, I want to play it one day. Here's your Batman Lego trilogy, man. Batman Arkham Collection. So that was all of the Batmans, I would think.
I'm guessing so. The only one I never finished was Arkham Origins. That was the only one I never finished. I need to go back and play it. I mean, they're fun. They're really fun games.
There's Celeste again. And Inside's a great game. Fuck Fez. The Hyperlight Drifter's being offered again. And there's an Alec Wake right there again. So apparently they did. And there's For Honor, although I'm not that shit. It's like, would you really want to play a fighting game by Ubisoft?
There's Limbo. Limbo is supposed to be good.
Limbo's great. Limbo and Inside are made by the same person. I mean, the same team. They're both amazing. And you play them for a couple hours. You have a blast. 2D jumpy games, and they're great. Of course, there's the first. I've never played Torchlight. Of course, why would you play a single player Diablo? But June, Enter the Gungeon. I've always heard good about that. That's on my wish list. Oracle Rhyme. I've never played or know much of any of those games. I've heard of them. Transistor's supposed to be good. Of course, The Witness is good, although that is not my cup of tea at all, man.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
Although I definitely understand people just losing their mind over it. Oxenfree is great. I end up playing that, I think, on 360 or some shit, and it's like you're kind of just like a couple of kids. You're going to like hang out on an island or some shit, It's almost like a walking simulator, except it's 2D, and it's mainly about walking forward and listening to the dialogue. You know, it was pretty damn good. Of course, this has been the one game is like, damn it, I would have definitely played that fucking shit, and they gave it away for free. Axiom Verge, which is like that kind of, it was like original Metroid type game. I would have definitely liked that. Jack in the Box don't care about that. I heard this was like a walking simulator thing. I don't, Of course, Super Meat Boy, I've got that on 360. I'm gonna let us get it on PC instead. Subnautica, I think I don't know if it's Soma or Subnautica is supposed to be real good. I think they're both underwater games. What the fuck is this guy? But yeah, man, it's like they had all these cool freaking things. I might be a bastard. Be a just if I could jump ship, kitty, just jump ship and be a Steam tard. I mean, at Epic tard, sell my soul to the Chinese for free shit.
You'd always have both.
Yeah, well, just don't buy anything from fucking Epic Store. Of course, I would immediately, as soon as people start buying multiplayer games between one and the other, they don't go back and forth. So it's like automatically Steam would be your default. So it's like, then again, it's like, oh, I'm downloading this free shit. And you kind of like, oh, I didn't even pay for anything. I just claimed it or whatever. So, and then never play it again. It's freaking just legit happened. This Amazon make me punch my fucking code in. I think it does. I'm not punching no code in. Watch it give me my password or some shit. I'll put all my down. It'll give me an email and password all on the front page.
It'll show you all the stuff porn you've been looking at.
Show me every fucking thing. Look, I can claim whatever this is.
Yeah, whatever that is.
I got it. Plug in digital. I got Roos. Amazon's got some weak shit, man. You can't even get all this shit on the screen. Hit the ready install. What the fuck, Steel Rats?
I figured you were doing mad tracks, man. Dream Daddies.
Dream Daddy. That would probably
Dad
be
Raptor's cut.
Dad Raper's cut, bro. That was what the fuck's Observer? Yeah, of course these right here are just straight emulated shit.
Oh yeah, I'm about to say there's probably not much going on there. There's Forsaken.
I
just remember it always looking like a freaking rock album, like cover.
Yeah. Of course, this is be the emulated. I mean, King of Fighters 2000 is the worst one by far. And then this one right here is the, it doesn't say like Ultimate. This is literally the emulated regular 2002, so no one gives a fuck.
Which one was the one when they started going 3D?
It's been happened a couple of times. So it was first one they did was called Maximum Impact.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yep. And so
I was thinking Double Impact from Street Fighter 3, but I was like, no, it's not that. But I remember, it was like, this does not feel like,
It was it's like it had turbo mode cranked up to like freaking insane, and you could press like down forward and punch, just press shit, and you would have like a Marvel vs. Capcom style like Dala combo thing pop out, and then you just finish it up with a special move or whatever. Dude, I had a lot of fun with that game. That game's actually fun. I don't know if you'd say balanced. They completely fucking forgot it. And so King of Fighters 14 is like, it's 3D, but it's not like that one was. I think you could even sidestep in that game. But it's like the way Street Fighter 4 and 5 are, and Killer Instinct, where it's a 2D game, but it's 3D characters.
Yeah.
I did not like 14, and I'm pretty sure that in the United States, Atlas was handling the publishing it, because Atlas is a publisher, and they still publish even if Sega owns them. But Atlas, you pay an Atlas tax for those fucking games, and so they had like all of these DLC, so you have a fucking big ass season pass. You're gonna end up paying like $90 for all this shit. I'm like, fucking King of Fighters 14 is not worth $90.
No.
And then I ended up actually getting it. It was reduced, and I played it. I'm like, this is shit. And I fucking have Lord Gavin give my money back. Project Warlock is a game I want to play. And so that's why I ended up, when I realized that was on Amazon Games, I freaking got it. Now, I don't know if it looks very similar to Game Pass. It's like Game Pass ain't gonna require no codes either, right?
That you know of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pulsating like a titty. Your perks are here. Get the base game in store. Claim your fantasy. You know, if Fantasy Star Online came out 10 years ago, like it did, in Japan, maybe I'd be freaking interested. So that recently added. You just don't know, man. You just don't know what's going to pop up on this free list. So half the time, I'm not even paying attention, man. What the fuck's with this no results found? Really? Thanks. This is still buggy as fuck. It's been out for a while and it's buggy as fuck. Most popular. Give me my goddamn recently. Well, I'll just do it from here. I don't know what the hell. We had Observer on Amazon. This one has observation. Okay, it's different.
Totally different.
What the fuck is West of Dead? You gonna give me a trailer? You can't even. If you bring that up, you can't
it's
even.
It's like a T-type, no doubt trailer.
Is that the whole trailer, or is it down? Look at it. You can't even see what the fuck it is.
It's Diablo.
It looks like a Diablo, doesn't it? With bullet time.
Yep. That's what it looks like.
It looks like this actually looks more like a game called Fury. I don't know if you see my review of it. It's called Fury, F-U-R-I. That's what that looks like to me. I've never played through the Bard's Tale, but this one's like there were some games on the PlayStation 2 called it was Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. This is what this game is made off the same engine, I'm pretty sure. And the Bard was like a wise ass, but the original Bard's Tales they're like wizardry games. They're like first person. What the fuck's Grounded?
No Man's Sky.
They won't even give me a goddamn trailer. Yeah, we're gonna go right past that. Dungeon of the Endless has no trailer either. There we go. Why would you make it so goddamn small? Fucking Microsoft is stupid. Microsoft makes the number one graphical user interface, Brian. What do you think about that? They're idiots, aren't they?
They made some good ones about 15 years ago, and then they got rid of them.
Battlefield, I never heard of it.
I'm going to assume that's like Red Alert, because that guy looks like he's got Red Alert written all over him.
Battletech. You can give it a trailer for not meaning anything. This is some shit that Drew would play, because it says Battletech on the front. Gears Tactics, I think it's supposed to be somewhat similar to damn it, what's that fucking game? That alien game. Damn, I cannot remember it now. My brain's too fried. But it's like a strategy game. Top down. I think that's what Gears is here. The Tactics Gears. Void Bastards is like this. It's kind of like this kind of cartoony like shooter, and it's like random generated spaceships, and you go in the spaceship and you get the shit out of there, and you have to get back. I've never played Wasteland 2.
That's it.
What would you play next? Oh, we can hit this surprise button, bro. Here we go. What are you gonna make me play? Dirt Rally. You ain't figured me out.
Dirt Rally.
Fucking Codemasters. 109 gigabyte. I bet you there's people who made YouTube videos. Surprise me. We're playing whatever they got. And they get just shit at the play.
They're like, God damn it. Not this.
Here we go. We press again. What we got? Russia Pixar. A picture. Wow, this is rough. Did you see the blood stain? Did you see it in there? I seen it flashed in.
For like 1 second.
They don't know me at all.
They're trying to give you something different. That's what it is. They want you to try something different.
Now something like this would probably be interesting. Imagine if you're like, is it a puzzle game where you have to load all the shit into like to stack up your fucking truck just right?
You gotta Tetris that shit in there, and it's only 400 something megabytes.
You gotta Tetris that shit in there, and then you need to drive it and move it. Hey, that could probably be great. That's probably great.
Yeah, man, they should make an entire game where you gotta like tote stuff across this like barren wasteland and not drop it, and get it where it needs to go. They could probably make an entire game about that.
Yeah, well, one person can make an entire game, and all his stands will be like, "Man, this is the best game ever." Oh, they're going back to the Bard's Tale.
Bard's Tale. They really want you to play that.
I would play the other ones. I want to play the new ones. Mud Runner. You have a video. 1.5 gigabytes. What's in the Mud Runner? Are we running mud over here?
It's like, kid, you drive across this mud.
Can you get in this mud?
Can you get out of this mud?
That's what it is. Look at it.
Check out this mud. Check out that mud. Oh shit! Don't
Oh
touch
shit!
that mud. It's
That
not
mud.
mud.
That mud's a pumpkin, man. A
That mud's
physics
shit.
playground. You know, sometimes games like this are actually pretty damn great, man.
Oh yeah, like back in the day when we played Carnivores. It's like the stupidest ass game, and you put in some cheat codes, and suddenly it became one of the greatest ass games. Fucking stayed on top of a mountain hiding from the T-Rex. It just keeps spinning in a circle. It was awesome.
Heard that's a card game. That's Jason's stuff. I do not care for. Although I've heard this is good. I've heard this is real good. I just don't do card games.
I have a hard time getting into them.
I keep seeing a Mega Man in there too. Hyperdot, glitch, action in the picture. What's about these dots? We're going deep cut now, man. We're gonna see some real shit. Can you hear that, or I bet you can't hear that. All right,
it's okay. I can visualize the dots. It looks like looking under a microscope.
That's loud as fuck. Let me hit that because I can't see how loud that's popping up for anybody who's watching this. It's probably loud as fuck.
I'm guessing it's like you're one dot and you're trying not to get touched by the other dots.
I got you.
Like a reverse shooter.
Yeah. It looked like it. The music's real big, so that's where freaking music was blowing my ears out. Gears of War 4. I have not gotten through. No, wait. No, I beat Gears of War 4. I beat that. Those are kind of like brainless, dumb, play with your buddy games.
Yep, bro games. Got to play one every once in a while.
I've never played a Metro, although this is the same one that Epic Games just gave away. Is that the new one? I don't think that's the new one or not. I don't know.
I don't think so.
It's only 7 gigs, probably not. Gato Roboto.
That looks like it's got you written all over it.
I love Devolver Digital. So let's see what we got.
It's got a kitty cat on the front of it.
Was he playing a Game Boy game?
It's got a little kitty cat, man.
Is he like a fucking Mega Man cat?
That's got you written all over it.
I mean, yeah, but I don't want to play the black and white shit. Just doesn't. It looks kind of like a Mega Man type game, except with a lot more shit going on.
Maybe a little bit of Metroid.
Yeah. Intruder alert. Yeah, that's a Steve type game. When you get graphics, that black and white, clearly trying to be a Game Boy or super damn retro is kind of a turn off. So I go add it to Steam wish. Although why would I need to add it to Steam wish list? It's on fucking Game Pass. See, now I played the first one. This one right here, is this the first one?
I think that's the first one because the second one was something Modor, but that's the first one, I think.
No. I mean,
no. I could be wrong.
This one looks like. I mean, it's 100 fucking gigs, and that other one was like an early damn Xbox One game.
I think you're right. That's
that bloated. I like the first one, but this one had all of that microtransactions. Fucking, you could buy your orcs out of the damn loot boxes. It had all that bullshit in it. This is the reason, because Warner Brothers Interactive, they're assholes, man. They're real assholes. They're trying to be the biggest dicks, and they ain't. But we could try. They're for sale, I'm pretty sure. I think AT&T's selling them. So your next Mortal Kombat might be brought to you by EA. This would be an excellent chance for Ed Boon to buy his own self out, because that's Mortal Kombat is still, I mean, besides Smash, that's the biggest fighting game by a large amount. It's just prints fucking money. It's like
they got RoboCop now.
Yeah. It's like he wouldn't be able to afford those licenses to pay for all them extra characters, but he takes that money, makes one more. He buys himself out, right? And so he's got that Afterlife Mortal Kombat, and then you make 6 more characters. You make Melina. It's Melina in 6 different costumes, and you charge $30 per Melina. The retards will buy it, and then he can fund his next game, man, off of Melina freaking cosplays.
Yep.
Why was Melina not be in that game? It only the how people bitch about it. How could they not see that? It's some of those things like you can't take Johnny Cage out, you can't take Melina, you can no longer take Scorpion out and Sub-Zero. I know you tried.
They tried their damnedest.
Scorpion wasn't in Mortal Kombat 3, but Sub-Zero was.
They added him in Mortal Kombat 3 Ultimate. And Sub-Zero was like the fake Sub-Zero, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like his brother. And then they added like retro Sub-Zero at some point.
And I think Scorpion's been in every single one. They learned their lesson. You better have Scorpion fucking in the game. Raiden, I think, is every once in a while been taken out, but
I know they killed Liu Kang and they had fake Liu Kang for a minute.
I can't remember the Mortal Kombat 10 story, but it was like Liu Kang was evil. I can't remember why him and Katana were evil. And dude, all I remember is in Mortal Kombat 10, he would talk some serious shit in verses.
I just remember they were playing one where he had like changed and he was like a zombie or something. You remember that?
That might have been it might have been Deception, because he gets killed in Deadly Alliance. And so he comes back, I think, in Deception as a zombie. But he's just straight out like evil in Mortal Kombat 10. Something happens in 9. I can't remember. But you have to play 9, 10, 11, like, you know, because that's the new story. I'd have to redo it. The stories are really fun in those games. Jason's got it for me. I just need to do it. Of course, you know, I got to play my Contra Hardcore right now. I can play Contra and it kept surprise me think about games I can't play. Moonlighter. Not interested. I don't even know what it is. Not interested.
Looks like Simon Belmont from
It kind of did. Where he's about to whip. About to whip. 2-point hospital. Now some of these, well, it says it's crude Harmony Blood. Some of these damn simulation games suck you in, bro. They suck you in bad. Of course, SimCity being the classic one.
Yep. It's made by Sega.
Sega Europe.
Yep.
There's another stable game. Just looking at it, it's only 700 megabytes. So this must be.
Oh shit! It's got use of tobacco in it. You know what
low
that means?
Budget. Here we go. We're clicking the preview.
They better be having
look at this shit. Look how retro that shit looks at the bottom. Hurry up and give us the freaking. We don't want to see no dang
It's still have still
CGI.
screens in the freaking, you know, and the trailer's gonna be still framed.
Look at that shit. That right there, I can play that kind of stuff. But there's so many games like this. It's like, how would you even know which one to pick? And there's also so many games like this that are actually nudo pervert games. So like, what would you make me to not play a pervert game so I can play a regular game? It's like there's millions of them. Oh, look how many fucking characters there are. Is that like that Final Fantasy mobile game where you just like roll your damn finger on the screen and all your guys attack?
It once.
Yep. Gears of Fate have started. But you see, if you're on Xbox, you're not expecting to play this shit on Xbox. So no one's playing this shit. You didn't even expect it to be there. I keep seeing Bloodstain. Now, this one right here, one of these days, I want to play through. And now there's 2 of them. And it looks so good, and I've just never got around to it. That was Ori and the Blind Forest, people. Hello, Neighbor. Oh, shit, look at this. Hello, Neighbor. And it looks like Mr. Belvedere with a shovel.
He's pissed.
Here we go.
Your ass.
It's like, I will kill you. Is that the letter from Mr. Belvedere? So he's evicting your ass? You're evicted.
It's like, I noticed that your fence was 1 inch over on the other. You got to run from him like Mr. X.
He's going to get your ass. You got to.
Oh shit! He's a fucking pedo, and you got to escape the pedo. Look at him.
He just fucking takes crowbars.
God, man, he just threw that crowbar right down. Look at him. He's got his gloves on. He's about ready to go pedophile your ass.
So you're running? Are you running from the landlord? Is that what you're doing? That's what it seems like.
You're a squatter, and you're just trying not to get evicted.
That's what I'm thinking.
She's like, get the fuck out of my house, bastard. And you're like, no. Look at him. He's got them eyes that stare into your soul.
Look at his fucking mustache. I mean, or beard or whatever. Fucking, no, it's not. You can't even say it's a mustache or beard. The mustache is ridiculous, and that one string of hair that's his beard or chin. Yo, this is fucking great. Hello, neighbor, man. That's great. Whatever the fuck that was. That's kind of shit. That shit looks to us fucking great. Surprise me. Infinite Factory, trivia, puzzles. I don't give a fuck about machine puzzle games. Tracks the train set game for everyone. No, 700 megabytes. Yep, not for us. We don't care.
That's like some of that shit. You remember back in the day at Walmart where you had like the shelf of like shitty PC games, and you'd just be like, yeah, that looks like something out of that.
I want to say I've seen a trailer to this or something before. Mute that shit. Okay, so this is Ape Out. Devolver Digital. Yep, that's why I heard about it, because I watch all their stuff. You're just punching people off of buildings? Oh my god, you just pick up people and using them. I guess you got to skate. This looks similar.
Kind of reminds me of like Gauntlet back in the day.
This is very similar to, especially the throwing shit. It's Hotline Miami looking type shit. I'm assuming your ape could take one hit though. Ape Out. The Hotline Miami games don't really do it for me, man. The aesthetic of that game and like the crazy fucking music, or in like just the weird as fuck story is what made that. But the actual game part was like, you just felt like it was so random and hard. You just felt like you were lucky that you won. The Messenger. Of course, the Messenger's fucking great. I love the Messenger.
I think the Mega Man you saw flashing in there had something with Iron Man, so maybe it's like it's one of the Marvel vs. Capcom games in there.
It's going to be Marvel Infinite. Mud Runner's popped up again. They really want to push the Mud Runner. F1 2018 PC GP. 40 gigabytes.
No, why not just play Forza? I mean, I don't know. I guess if you really want to do some, F1 racing.
This is the way I see it. The F1 part of Forza is my favorite part, dude. I'll just say it. I don't care so much about the muscle cars because they still ain't going to control like these goddamn things. When you bring those, you've been sitting there and you've been working your ass off, building up your cars, going to the leagues, and you've got the levels memorized, and then all of a sudden you're doing that shit on a Formula car, and it's like the most ridiculous crap. Like you got to fucking brake, or your control is like so good. And like you're playing the whole game again, new and different. That last part of your Forza campaign is so fucking amazing because of these damn cars. And on top of that, the computer can't have a better car than you. They all have to be the same car, and so it's like you're beating them with skill instead of you having a bad car or they having a great one. I don't know. Maybe this is good. Who knows? You never hear about this kind of shit. I heard this is great. A Plague Tale. Are you still there?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I was just reading what all it had in it. I never heard of it.
It's I think it's like a multiple genre type game, and you're trying to escape the fucking rats, the plague rats. I don't know exactly how. I heard it's really good from last year. We'll just watch the goofy ass trailer. Turn the fucking shit off. It's close to as perfect as games get.
That's saying a lot.
You got the plague. That's what he said. We'll have to voice it over ourselves.
You got the freaking poison. He's like, this guy right here.
Yeah, they're the rats. Stellar soundtrack. Oh, shit. He's got the plague. He has powers. Oh, that would be creepy, man. The fucking rats everywhere. If you're scared of rats. I'm only scared of real life rats running across my feet.
If those don't bite you, they're okay.
Yeah. And usually they're trying to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people said this is great, but I mean, I'm not seeing too much here that's like, oh man, I gotta play this shit. Looks like
looks
it's
pretty.
drawn. Yeah, it looks real good for a independent game. Surprising. What else we got? Wasteland 2, action adventure. Don't know much about it. I think it's one of them. I just always thought it was kind of like the old school Fallout. So maybe I'm wrong. Power Rangers Battle for... Oh, shit. We got fighting. Battle for the grind. I heard that people like this.
It's the thing is, like, it's perfect for Game Pass because I can't imagine spending money on it. I mean, it looked like it'd be interesting, but you knew going in, like, it can't be, that great.
Is it a versus? It's a versus, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Mightiest Power Rangers game. I mean, hell, it looks like them. You don't need fancy damn graphics for them. I remember that guy.
Goldar, or whatever his name was.
Now, some of these other Power Rangers, I don't know who the fuck they are. If they're not the original 5 with Tommy, I don't know who the hell they are.
Yeah, by that time, I had aged out.
No, he did a fucking uppercut with the guy. Yes, when you be Red Ranger, so you can be the Ken one. Dude, Bro Ranger gonna whoop your ass. He's fucking tactical squat. What the fuck was that? Night Ranger? There's Tommy. You had the Ford Zords stomp on their ass.
Stomp on their ass.
Yeah, something like that is just designed for freaking Game Pass. You know that?
Yeah, because I mean, can you imagine being like, I'm going to spend $60 on this shit when it comes out?
This is another reason. It's only on 127 gigs. So, in about 15 minutes, man, you're up and running that shit. Some of this stuff is like, oh, well, surprise me. And they give you a damn 100 gigabyte game.
If I say 90 gigs and you're just like, all right, set that shit for overnight.
Forza 4. Now, I've not played that one. I played through 3. I don't know if you played through 4.
I think I've played through 4, I think.
What country's that in?
I have no idea. Looks like the fall somewhere.
Yeah, I can't remember if because third one was in Australia. I thought they had ice and shit in this one. I could be wrong. To me, I just like the damn circuit tracks more.
Yeah.
And when on 3, the tracks I gravitated toward were pretty much circuit type tracks. I didn't like the off-road shit that much, and that's such a big aspect of that game. And honestly, I think that they should have made the open world shit a little bit better. It's like when I first heard about it, it's like, oh, it's going to have all these barn cars. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's going to be great. But it's actually more like a quest. It's like a mini quest,
that was the thing. Yeah, because is 4 the newest one, or did they do a 5? I was getting them confused with the regular Forza series.
They're up to 7 on Motorsport. Horizon 4 is the latest one.
That's right. Okay, yeah, because I was sitting there thinking, like, wait a minute, there was a 6. No, I played 6 of regular Forza. I think it's Game Pass also. But Horizon 4 I played. 3 was really good. I like 3.
Yeah.
Because
my wheel was kind of fucked up on 3. Though I've heard a lot of people talk about their wheel was fucked up. So
I just used the controller. But 3 was the Xbox One, because 2 was on 360, I think, still.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the barn things would be fun, where you could like hunt for stuff and you'd be like, oh shit, I found this. No, it's like more like a quest, like, oh, there's one over here, go find it. It kind of took it out.
Yeah, that's so it's like, you're not interested.
It would have been way cooler if it would have been like, finding random shit.
Yeah. So we got Minecraft Dungeons. I heard this sucks. That's what I've heard. Baby's First Diablo is also what I've heard.
Yeah.
I'm just not interested in Minecraft, and it's so involved these days. It's like Stranger Things 3. So that's the game that Epic just gave away. It's what do you think this would be? 800 megabytes. It ain't no fucking fancy shit.
I mean, I figured like 16.
Over the top. Yeah, that's just, look at this. Look at this. They don't even have a trailer. What was that one? Go back to that. Did I lose it? Who are these people? Oh, that's Billy and damn it, I can't remember her name.
That mom that was gonna boink him.
That's
It's like Nancy and
Nancy and her boyfriend. Oh, dude, look at that shit. Where's this Hawaiian shirt at, man?
I don't know. Maybe you unlock costumes. There's one on this like on mobile phones. It's like basically kind of like it's almost like Goof Troop is what the one on mobile phones is like, and I wonder if this is like a fancy version of that.
You have multiple characters. I don't know if you can select them. I need to go back and watch that.
Yeah, that show is great. I watched the third one first before I saw any of the other ones. My daughter was like, "You should watch this. You'd like it." And I watched it, and it's like, "Oh, now I got to watch the other two." I guess it'll be forever and a day before they come back. Now that everything's on hiatus.
The third one is just so fucking good. The second one's okay. The first one's amazing, but the third one mixes it up and turns it to like this action thing.
Yeah.
So they kept it fresh. So it doesn't feel like it's washed out at all, and like you're just freaking absorbed. You're absorbed on that shit.
Oh yeah, and then the way they ended it, so you're kind of like, you're waiting for that next season, but like I said, I bet you it's going to be a while for that. Because I think they all halted production. Pretty much all things like that did.
See, the thing is, these days, there's so much stuff. Like when you were a kid, you could not wait for that big thing you was waiting for. I feel like you're just losing your goddamn mind. But these days, there's so many things that it's like I could sit there and wait. If it takes 4 years for that to happen, I could wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one had surprised me, and it said Pillars of Eternity. I played through the first Pillars of Eternity. I'm guessing this is just like the enhanced edition. It is not a card and board game. That is a straight up Baldur's Gate clone. And it's done by some of the guys. It's done by Obsidian, which is made of a bunch of Baldur's Gate guys. Those games are like real in depth, but once you like kind of get it, and it's a pause game, so you hit pause to decide all your moves. Once you get it, man, you cannot stop playing those. They're so fucking fun, and it has like Diablo where you're going like, what's in the next area? But in the Pillars, it's like everything's set, so it's not randomly generated. And they got the treasure in there. It's just so good. But only about 30 hours. It was short, but it was had a pretty good fun with that. Cluster Truck. I've heard a lot about this. I don't know if you've ever seen Cluster Truck.
It looks like something like Burnout used to be.
Yeah, you're on the trucks trying to do shit.
Oh, okay, I got you.
And the trucks are moving. It's not complicated. But I mean, I was sitting there when I would be riding with my parents or somewhere.
Oh yeah, looking out the window doing that shit.
Yeah, in your mind is like, if I was Super Mario, it's like, how would I make this jump? It's like you picture him jumping through the cars and shit, or Gal. He's like, he's fighting in Bison. He's got to throw sonic booms and shit. He got to charge up in the car. He needs a longer car to charge it to full up. That's kind of thing I think. But yeah, I heard this is one of those games is like you ain't never got time for, but it looks fucking great. It looks fun.
It's like one of those like temple run
shit!
games.
I pressed the wrong goddamn button. Here we go. Fucking, I'm surprised this thing hasn't crashed on me. Unavowed. I heard this is it looks like a detective type game. You got 4 players. No idea what the fuck it is. Don't care. Sexual themes. Oh shit! Gotta click the trailer. We gotta get some of these themes going. Glad these trailers are short.
That's all they need to be. Just something to like give you the idea of like what this is.
I'm more interested in what's going on with these. Oh shit! This is weird. It's everybody shooting everybody in fucking a 2D game.
And it looks like one of those point and click games from back in the day.
Yeah, and they're trying to give you some sort of action to make you think there's a different game. And look at it. Yeah, look at it. Oh, he's even got a cursor. That's exactly what it is.
It's that cursor Monkey Island shit in Full Throttle.
Fucking Full Throttle. I know that's your game, man.
I thought that shit was I remember when I first got a computer at home, man. It's like back in like 1995. It's like, oh shit, I can't get the Full Throttle. Man, that fucking sucked. It wasn't horrible, but it was like, I don't know. It wasn't as good as Curse of Monkey Island or anything like that.
Yeah. I played actually through, because I never played it. They had it on Game Pass for 360, It was an enhanced version, so you could just press them like right trigger or something to get hints. So I used that to actually get through the game. It was pretty funny. Fuck doing that shit legit. Fuck that.
I remember like that was one of the first things I remember looking up on the internet when the internet was like in its infancy of being like, I mean, it was like 1995, so it's like there wasn't a whole lot of shit online compared to what there is now. You couldn't just find shit about games, like maybe some older ones.
Yeah.
But I remember like finding, because there was one part of that game where you're on a motorcycle and these guys are riding up to you and you have to take them out in a certain order. If you don't take them out in a certain fucking order, like you just it just like ends. And I remember it was like that's where I kept getting stuck at because I couldn't figure out the damn order. Because it'd be like you'd be like, oh, I can't attack that dude. I gotta wait and attack this other guy that's gonna show up in like 5 minutes or some shit like that. It'd fuck with you. That's where I remember keep getting stuck.
You'd have to go to a damn BBS or because you're pre-internet. Hell, even if you're pre-BBS, it's like you'd have to literally hope your Nintendo Power or your Electronic Gaming Monthly had something in there.
Just a hint of like, why the fuck could I get past this one driving stage, you know?
Yeah, or the Nintendo Power would have that. What was it? Counselor's Corner. Was that what that might have been the actual damn where people wrote letters into it. But there was a corner where there was a cheats corner. There was one for cheats, and there was one where the players would send in questions, and then they would answer the shit on the magazine. Imagine if you're sitting there trying to figure out some stupid shit in Legend of Zelda, because Legend of Zelda was one of those games you had to have friends. Everybody, you knew people who had it, and so you could talk about shit. It's like, oh, well, you got to use this is a lake. You have to use the whistle. But for the other obscure ass games, the ones that wanted to be Legend of Zelda, you didn't know shit. So I was like, imagine going through Deadly Towers without any information. I know how my dad did it. He's a fucking badass. He brought graph paper and fucking
mapped that shit out.
Colored pencils and mapped the damn maps out because there's like 8 dungeons, and it's one of those things where your little dude, I forgot his name. He's just walking about and he steps in the wrong spot and he goes to a fucking dungeon, and then you're in the dungeon. You got to find the exit. It's like. And it's just screen after screen after screen. You go one screen at a time, like Legend of Zelda, but except times a billion. It's like freaking just. He would go nuts, and at least Legend of Zelda knew to have you. Once you got the map, they would give you the map of the area, and so you could follow the logic. The map actually had like there was a design to the map, like you would look like a bird or something. It's like, oh, I need to go to the bird's beak. That's probably what the boss is.
Yeah, you could figure it out. You could be like, oh, there's probably a room here somewhere if I bomb this wall because it looks like there could be a room here, somewhere. They really want you to play that God over Batu.
Yeah, I've heard so much about Dishonored. I asked Drew because he plays all the open world games, and I thought it was like an open world stealth game. I guess it is, but I've never played Dishonored 1 or 2. I'm assuming that Bethesda doesn't make them themselves because, it'd be broken and busted if they did.
They just don't take it online. Keeps it from being broken and busted.
Look, it's another fucking game. Devolver Digital. It's still Devolver Digital. It's going to be the same freaking guys who did. They just do black and white because they're the guy who makes it is colorblind. He's
colorblind, man. He's like, that's all I do. They're like, why don't you do one in color? He's like, I did.
Oh my god! Well, look at this trailer. He's a duck eating shit.
Freaking! It's like Cubert mixed with like Pac-Man.
I know what this is. I know exactly what this is.
A pile of
shit. No, it's well, I haven't played it, so it could be. What it is, you have 1 minute to beat the game, and you have to do a bunch of shit, and so, you don't know what the shit is, and so you keep repeating it like Groundhog Day until you figure it out what you do. And I think you only have a minute, or there might be like a saves, like you get to a certain part, and you don't just keep going. Groundhog Day wasn't like that. You always started at he always started at the same time. But there was other game. I mean, or animated copied Groundhog Day. I think Ray Zero is one of them, where if you could get to the next sequence, you could start it over from there. But that's the way that game worked. But I've never played it. I think Jim Sterling played it. Whatever you did to do, you had to do it quick. You had to make a plan. Blazing Chrome is hell. I've done played and reviewed, and that game I beat that. It came out on Game Pass the day it came out on Steam. My dumbass bought it on Steam before I even knew. I didn't even know it came out. It's like, oh, surprise, motherfucker! But it's like a Contra / Metal Slug game. It was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. It looked good. A lot of these indie games look good. Halo. 70
What's to be said about Halo?
Yeah. Dude, I mean, we bought that shit from CD Keys for $6 though, so we can't complain, man. Although it's free now, it's free on Game Pass. Dude, those remasters were good. Halo 1 needed a damn remaster because that frame rate was shit.
Yeah. You didn't realize it at the time, but in hindsight, you'd be like, yeah, it's pretty bad.
Never played Dead by Daylight. That's not the Dying Light's what I'm thinking of. I don't even know this game to talk about it. I want to play Dying Light one day.
Aren't they up to 2 on that one? Dirt Rally 2.0.
Yeah. Have you noticed that one of this, like when it flashes through one time, there's like a picture of a bunch of dogs? Have you noticed that? Yeah, I'm curious about that, sir. I don't know what the fuck it is. Mud Runner. The third time for fucking Mud Runner. Halo Wars 2, some Jason shit. Am I going to get tired of hitting to surprise me? This game always looked good. It looks kind of like, I don't know if that's a roguelike or not, the Enter the Gungeon. But you kind of dodge a bunch of shit and you get badass guns.
Wasn't that on the Epic Store also?
Yeah, that was one they're giving away. It's on all the platforms, I think. And I don't know if they're dumping Halos on me. So you can get Master Chief Collection, or you can get Halo Combat Evolved. Oh, by the way, they're both 70.4 gigabytes. So they're tricking you out, acting like it's more games there, man. They're double dipping. Rise of Nations Extended Edition. Never played it. I think it's old school PC. I think. Goner Win 10. I don't. It doesn't say.
I have no idea.
What is this? You don't know what the fuck. You guys got to get. Well, I mean, you see skulls and it's a tapeworm on the front. It's just like, who cares? You got to stick out. Oh, you got to stick out more. At least this guy sticks out. But then it's like, oh, the Avalanche made this game, so it sucks. They won't tell you who's making the game. They just say who publishes it. Avalanche made this. Rage 2 sucks. I know. I've never played it, and I know it. Because Rage 1 sucked. Why did y'all make a sequel? Why did y'all do that? Y'all thought that was IP that it was worth putting money into. I've always loved these Worm games.
Yeah, the old Worms games back in the day were pretty good.
Yeah. So they just keep making new ones, and I don't know. Is this old? Is this new? I don't know. I guess they get up to Dukes now, man. I played through How to Tell a Boyfriend. I was not that impressed. I think if you kept playing through and get the super ending, it's good. But
get 100%.
Yep, it's like a reverse visual novel where you're the girl and it's the guys are the pigeons, and so there's like each kind of pigeon is a guy. I ended up dating an insane pigeon. I think we went to the moon or some shit, and I'm like, this was not impressive to me. Some of those, it's all about the writing on that shit. The writing's got to be good. The freaking Colonel Sanders one, I like that shit. And it didn't waste your time either. Crosscode, action adventure. This is our last one, man. We're at 2 hours. We're over 2 hours here, but this was fun, man. I enjoyed just pressing buttons.
Just clicking the surprise button.
You got the anime games are the best games, man. What the fuck? She looks like Chrono Trigger, except she's
it looks a lot like Chrono Trigger.
Except with an action game. That looks pretty fucking fun, dude. Meet the other characters. Interesting.
Gotta have a robot guy.
Did they fight with you too, or? Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, that actually looks pretty good.
Yeah. Make that about 12 hours long. That'd be real good. Action RPG, and that's definitely. Oh boy, look at all that shit. So like a story Diablo game, might not be so much random treasure, but with like Final Fantasy type characters, it looks like that's Chrono Triggers type aesthetic. Did you see him spin that through the fucking? Oh yeah, this game looks badass, dude. It had 1-up mans too. Oh, I gotta have my wizard number. So if I could get it, pull up the whole screen with a fucking bunch of numbers and shit, I can't even read. Yeah, that looks great, man.
Yeah, it actually looks pretty fun.
Yeah, I'll have to go get the crosscode. I think I already got that on my Steam wish list. Actually, it's one of those things where you hit a queue and it just keeps fucking recommending shit. And then if I have somebody who recommends that I should put, somebody I follow says gotta get it. And yeah, it's like there's so much awesome shit between all the free platforms and stuff, at least on PC, that we ain't even fuck with, man. We're just yeah, yep. It's like how you got time? You don't got time, but just gotta make hard choices. And I pick fucking Contra Hardcore. It's gonna do it one day.
Go back and play it again.
Yep. It's like, hey, if I get through and beat it, and then if I beat freaking, Divine Divinity, I can play Crosscode next, or I can play Curse of the Moon next. That's the way I look at it. I reward myself with more work. So, yeah, every once in a while, we just have to have the bullshit freaking no purpose podcast. And, yeah, that was the day.
Just to ignore everything else in the world at the moment.
Including my kitty, Brian. Oh, you like to be helped, don't you? Fucking beavers tearing my damn woods up. They're gone.
The kitties out there to fix them.
They're gone, man. Brian would help them.
Yeah, he probably would.
Yeah.
It's like you need to build this day bigger. Right in the middle of the yard.
All right, let's see what we got.